Fast Lane on Monday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Cardinals' second half will begin on Friday. We've got the Home Run Derby tonight. We got some Home Run Derby picks for you at some point today. All-Star game tomorrow night. Cardinals selected JJ Wetherholt with the number 7 overall pick, shortstop / second baseman out of West Virginia. We'll share some thoughts about that. Some reactions to John Mozeliak and where he thinks his team is at the All-Star break. And that's kind of where we want to start off here outside of the John Mozeliak conversation. Just our thoughts now. Guys, as we sit, they split with the Cubs over the weekend at Busch Stadium. Some really bad baseball, some really good baseball. They split against their division rivals. They're 50-46 at the break, 4.5 games back in Milwaukee. My question for you guys is, where we were at spring training, your thoughts on this team when we were in spring training and then heading into the regular season. What, if anything, has changed for you as we now sit at the All-Star break?
They're kind of where I thought they would be. Now, I didn't see it play out as Mason when Alec Burleson and Wilson Contreras would be driving your offense. I obviously thought Goldie and Arenado, along with Contreras, would be your offense, like your pop. Gorman could take some steps forward. He's kind of stuck in a rut. He's still basically the same player that he was last year. But I thought they'd be in and around this position. You know, early on, I'd picked them to win the division. So being 4.5 games back is close enough to be a competitive team. But yeah, I'm kind of in the same spot I was before, except it's weird that it's played out with different characters playing bigger roles for the team.
I think essentially they are where I thought they would be. The start to the season was awful. It felt a lot like last year, which I didn't expect to take place. I expected them to be essentially where they are right now, and maybe hoping for a little bit more production. Like you said, if you have Goldie and Arenado playing at their caliber, their career levels, you're probably a little bit better than you are right now. But all in all, this is about what I expected because, you know, as he said, some of the guys that weren't expected to do really well are doing really well, and the guys that you did expect to aren't doing as good as they need to for this team to be as good as it needs to be.
Yeah, in spring training, I thought that this was probably where they would be, fighting for the first place spot in the Central. Now, after April, though, this team was not good. And so if I want to look from that standpoint, I think that they have overachieved in some sense because I didn't think this team was good at all in the first few weeks of the season.
You almost reset.
I almost had to reset my thinking. Yeah, I did. And now I'm like, oh, okay. I feel good about this team compared to where it was earlier in the season, but they're still right where I thought they would be in our conversations before the season started.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm coming in the mix of where you guys are too. And Jamie, I love the way you put that. It's like, well, I kind of expected this, just not how it played out.
Yeah.
It's almost like watching a movie and you're like, kind of like this. Not what I expected, but I kind of like it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see how
this plays out. No, definitely not like Top Gun. Not what I expected, but I'm like, man, I don't need to watch this anymore. But with the Cardinals, I'm interested to see how this ends. Yeah. And not in like this is a terrible movie, I have to finish it because it's so bad, I have to see how it ends. It's just more like, I didn't expect these actors to be in this show and to be as good as they have been.
And after the beginning of the
movie, I expected more out of the star actors.
And after the beginning of the movie, which was the beginning of the season, you wanted to shut the movie off, but you said,
I'll give it a couple more episodes. Maybe that's what it is. It's not a movie. It's a series.
It's a series.
Yeah.
You started watching the series based on a couple of actors, and overall you're like, wow, these actors not perform. But these other lesser-known characters, interesting.
I like these guys.
Didn't like the pilot at all. The second episode, I'm just going to stick this out. By the 5th, you're like, you know what? It's not bad.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not what I expected, though.
Nah, that doesn't give me a lot of hope. Because when you're watching a show like that, you know eventually it's going to let you down. Like, you're watching it and you're seeing...
necessarily.
Yeah.
What if it's going
series?
What if it's a great ending?
Expectations.
Generally speaking, great episodes, great sitcoms or TV shows start off strong, and then they tail off at the end. They don't normally start off really poorly Because if they do, people don't keep watching, right? You don't have people showing up to watch your show if it's not good in the beginning. And so then it kind of, you're almost forcing yourself to watch this show, Anthony, and you can watch other things. I don't know if anyone told you that.
I don't know if it's. I'm not there yet. I'm not there. I'm being forced to watch the miniseries. I'm into
You're just
it.
okay. It's okay.
It's what I expected when I started the series. Like, yeah, it's got some interesting players here. It's an interesting storyline. I'll continue to watch this thing. I'll watch it through. I'm not being forced yet.
Here's the big question. Is the series that you're watching, is it the first season, or is it a series that you've been watching before, and that's why you continue to see what happens?
For the sake of the analogy, I'll just say this is the first time. This is the first season.
Okay.
This is the first season. Yeah. Because if it's,
it does change things though. If it's a different season,
if I'm on season 9, my outlook is this is I've been watching the same damn thing for 9 seasons now.
Anything different?
Right? Yeah. I'm just like I'm invested.
I think you started a couple of years ago with this series.
Yes.
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, look at these main characters.
Really good. Second season, awful.
Yes.
But I like the first season so much. I'll tune back in for the third.
You got to see the third season and see how it plays out. See what we did there.
Yeah.
Good job.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's all just
completely just fine.
Fine. Yeah. This does.
Is it?
Well, this does remind me of the year that the Brewers had a couple of game lead, and they go into the trade deadline, and they wound up trading Hiebert, and the Brewers fell apart, and the Cardinals overtook them. This does have a little feel to that, but I don't think Milwaukee's going to be. I don't think they're going to be sellers at all. I think they're going to be buyers, maybe not aggressive buyers. But Milwaukee's going to add this time around. I think
who's less aggressive, the Brewers or the Cardinals at the deadline? I mean, I'm actually very
tied
serious.
For first. They're tied for first. They'll probably make the same amount of moves, but somehow I'll feel better about Milwaukee's moves than I will the Cardinals. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I'll look at Milwaukee, I'm like, yeah, they did pretty well here, and the Cardinals, I'll probably hate it. I don't know why. I can't explain it. But I'll probably be pissed.
Because your expectations, for whatever reason, even though recently they maybe shouldn't be, your expectations are always higher for the Cardinals. Because they're a bigger market team than the Brewers. I don't want to say bigger market. Historically, the organization has been a much better organization than the Brewers. So you look at it as like, well, it's mid for the Cardinals, but that'd be great for the Brewers.
Yeah, maybe it's a little of that, and also the Brewers always seem to make moves where I'm like, man, that was kind of smart. Like this Aaron Savali move. Like, oh, that was interesting. The Cardinals make moves, and I'm like, yeah, that's a Cardinal. Yeah, that's a move. That's a move a Cardinal would make. And that's not bad. It's not bad. It's just like, okay. Like we'll get into the number 7th overall pick here. Like that's a Cardinal selection through and through. Oh, Learn's out in the hallway here. I wonder if they've been practicing.
In the batting
home run derby and Rafe.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They're strategizing.
Yeah. Staying late.
Good luck with that. next week, right? Saturday? Next Saturday, I think. Isn't it coming?
Yeah.
Or is it 2 weeks from now?
I don't know.
Not this upcoming Saturday, but the following Saturday.
Yeah, that
Saturday.
one. Marshy's got it.
Home run derby. Tickets still available? Mm-hmm.
Good seats still available.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see Marsh go Yabo.
I can't wait.
Many a times. Carey. First time he's in the Derby. He's already complaining about his elbow.
He's
not good.
Back today.
Yeah.
And he goes,
just in the office. It wasn't like we were practicing.
All of a sudden, all of the Flexol came out.
Yeah.
It smelled like a training room.
It's not good. All right, let's get into the Cardinals selection of JJ Wetherholt at number 7 in the MLB Draft. He had been projected to go first, second, third. He falls to 7th. So did the Cardinals get a steal? Or did they just go the safe route again? We'll dive into it next on 101 ESPN.
Anheuser-Busch, Stella Artois are partnering with Hot Ones to bring you hot wings and hot trivia questions here in St. Louis. You can sign up now to compete in the next Hot Ones event at the Hot Shots in Wentzville. Or you can join me on Thursday at Helen Fitzgerald's this week. Going to be there from 6 to 8 p.m. Again, Hot Shots in Cyberg's locations as well. They got the little card on the table with the QR code. Just go in there and you can scan that and sign up and be a part of something really fun. It was a great time at Cyberg's. I know that they had a great time at Hot Shots in Wentzville. And this Thursday is going to be a great time at Helen Fitzgerald's. And if you don't want to compete, don't worry about it. Just show up, have a great time, come out and support all the people who are up there, watch the festivities, and you can also stick around for some free Stella samplings and your chance to win some attendance prizes. They got some great stuff for people that are showing up. It's going to be an awesome event, again, this Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. at Helen Fitzgerald's. Join me as I host the Hot Ones Trivia event at Helen Fitzgerald's, partnered with Stella Artois.
With the 7th pick of the 2024 MLB Draft, the St. Louis Cardinals select JJ Wetherholt, a shortstop from West Virginia University.
They're getting a baller, man. I can do it all. I can do a little bit of everything, and, I'm a learner, so I'm super excited to see what the Cardinals can do to make me a better player, and I'm just excited to be a Cardinal.
All right, that was JJ Wetherholt, the first-round pick for the Cardinals. First time they had that high of a selection in quite a while. So they wind up taking JJ Wetherholt, who, look, we're just going off of the scouting reports that others have done. He played shortstop at West Virginia, 22-year-old. Derek Gould of the Post-Dispatch and STLtoday.com had the full write-up about how a couple of nights ago, Wetherholt was having a dream, and he apparently saw himself in a Cardinals uniform, or at least saw the logo.
Was he in the dark room?
I don't think he was there with Aaron Rodgers. No, I don't think so.
Ayahuasca?
I don't think so.
Just wondering.
But you do see, from what I heard, you see visions.
Tell me about it.
I didn't, and not personally.
Oh, okay.
I heard about it. Yeah.
Thought maybe it was a football.
Not yet.
To be determined.
You have off next week, don't you? A couple of days off next week?
Wasn't going to say anything.
You go into the darkness?
Maybe.
Huh.
Tell us what you think.
I'll let you know.
Wetherholt, might be the best pure hitter in the class, and there are some area scouts who think he's the best amateur bat they've ever seen. That's one scouting report from MLB.com. The left-handed hitter drives the ball to all fields with authority, with excellent pitch recognition, and elite bat-to-ball skills that resulted in a minuscule 10% miss rate in 2023. So if you want somebody with good, again, bat-to-ball skills, contact hitter with a little power, this is your guy. Carey, I would think that for somebody like you that preaches all the time about contact hitters, put the ball in play, good things happen when you at least do that and you hit the ball hard, this is somebody that I think you would be excited about. Again, just reading the scouting report, it's not like we studied JJ Wetherholt, his West Virginia film.
I think the thing that the Cardinals did was
Jamie did. Carey and I didn't.
We did. The thing that the Cardinals did was got the best player available. I think he was, expected to go higher, top 4. Some people I heard even had him maybe being the number 1 overall pick. So to have him fall to number 7, what you're saying, the best hitter in the draft, best hitter that they've seen. Cardinals did that, I believe, last year when they got Chase Davis. They were saying that was the best bat in the draft last year. So maybe they're trying to build something with this future of people that can hit the ball, not strike out, hit with power, hit with, get the ball in play, as you said. So I think it's going to be a good thing for the Cardinals. Where he plays, I don't think it matters. I mean, he's a shortstop now. Obviously, that position, that role seems to be filled for the foreseeable future. But if you're able to play second base, if you're able to play third base, because Nolan Arenado may be departing here in a few years whenever his contract is up. So you have some flexibility from a guy that can do multiple things. I don't think it's a bad thing. If you were unable to get a pitcher and you got what you believe is the best hitter and the best player available to make your team better, I'm all for it.
See, I'm not as positive as you are, Carey. On this one, I think that the clear need was pitching. And you had a 7th overall pick, which means you have a chance to grab an absolute stud for a pitcher. And you grabbed another utility player. It's what you did. You grabbed a guy who's plays shortstop right now. He ain't going to be playing third, so don't think about that.
Well, why not?
Well, because the scouting report says he's got a weak arm, and he probably will play second base, so he's not going to be...
Okay, you know what? Here's the thing. Just because a kid is a shortstop who has a weak arm doesn't mean he's not a shortstop, okay?
I think that's essentially what that means.
Just...
Sore subject
from personal experience.
I don't like that. I don't like when they say, "Oh, you play shortstop," but not really.
Yeah,
you get a weaker arm. We're going to move you to second. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it either. That's why I don't think you should have picked him. Like, he has a good bat. Okay, fine. Will it translate to the majors? We don't know. Jordan Walker was supposed to be this guy that mashes baseballs. He's struggling a little bit right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. The pick is fine for me, but you had a clear need. Like, the only guy that projects to be a stud right now as a pitcher that I know of is Tink Hens. Mm-hmm. Now, you've got, Jerpy, who's pitching well, but I don't know if he projects to be a high end of the rotation. McGreevy and Graceffo, we don't know really what they are. To me, they don't project to be a number 1 or a number 2. They seem like a 4 or 5 in your rotation. So your need for me, anyways, was go get that stud pitcher. Go get that Paul Skeens kid. Whoever that kid is, I know he's one of a kind, but the guy who's kind of dominating college baseball like that, they didn't do it. They got a utility player. Shortstop now, second base tomorrow, maybe left field. Let's try him all over the place. You already have that guy. You got Donovan, you got Edman, you've got Sajasi, you've got all of these guys that are utility players in that spot. So the pick might work out, might be great, but I still, again, I feel like the Cardinals missed the boat on really addressing what they need.
I don't know if they could have done anything else, though, because the 2 pitchers that you wanted were gone. They're off the board, and the next pitcher to go didn't fall till 15. So why did none of those other teams pick a pitcher? It's because that guy, you're not going to pick a guy with the 7th pick if he's not projected to be that good. If you have a certain need, you shouldn't just go after that need just because you need it. What if that guy's not good? And then you drafted him 10 spots earlier than what he should have been picked.
Right.
Like, you just don't want to pick positions just to do it. I understand the need for it, but once those 2 guys, Burns and Hagen Smith, once they were off the board, then you knew you weren't getting a pitcher.
Right. And Jamie, I don't know if this changed your mind a little bit, but Brian Holiday, Oklahoma State pitcher,
He's our second pick.
Yeah, was selected second, 80th overall. Not what you're saying. You're not talking about top 10 selection.
I understand that the 2 studs were off the board early, whatnot. I don't know. Guys, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but hearing a utility player, I feel like this is such a Cardinals
Oh, as soon as you read any sort of scouting report on him, you're like, yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Safe. It's a safe. I'm not saying it's bad. See, people are going to take this bad. Like, people are going to start running with this. Like, oh, you don't like the pick. You don't like the kid. I haven't seen the kid play at all. I'm just telling you, I'm with Jamie in this regard. It does sound like the ultimate Cardinals prospect.
But what are you supposed to do? What at that spot?
To me,
that's the best player available.
Sure.
What should
I'm
you do?
not disagreeing. So again, Carey, I think Anthony and I'm not saying I don't like the player. Mm-hmm. I'm fine. He obviously was the best player available, and reading a lot of stuff, he was projected to go top 3.
Right.
He dropped to 7 for whatever reason. So I'm happy with it.
The injury.
But at the same time, I'm like, it's such a Cardinals pick.
Yeah, I normally I would agree, because that feel like when it's free agency, yes. But if this is the best player out of the pool of players that you have, you got to go with the best player. And even if he isn't a shortstop, even if he's not on this roster, and you can flip that for something better because another team needs a power hitting second baseman or shortstop, then you can do that. But I think for me, having competition at positions is the best thing that you can do, because it forces guys to be the best version of themselves, and you get to pick the best player to come up to your roster and actually play and do well. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a problem with the pick, especially if he's as good of a hitter as they say he is. If he can do all of the things, the injury, the hamstring, probably concerns me a little bit. How well is that? Is he going to be able? Hamstring injuries, Jamie, are tricky. Like, they never feel like they fully healed. Doctors are like, you're good to go. No, the hell I'm not. I cannot run full speed. It's going to rip off the bone, sir.
I'm still fearing where that snake bit me.
Yes.
It wasn't a snake. You tore your hamstring. Yeah. Still hurts.
Yes.
Well, we get a text message here, and apparently I'm not explaining myself correctly. It's from the 314. It says, kid is a stud. Going to need a handwritten apology from Jamie in a couple of years.
Stop.
I didn't say he wasn't a good player.
Yeah. You're making it about the player. It's not
weird.
Jamie's point.
It's weird, because that's not what I'm discussing. I said it's just such a Cardinals pick to pick a utility infielder that probably might end up in left field based upon.
You're not wrong.
I'm saying.
So
That's it.
You're not wrong.
if they pick an outfielder, then the discussion becomes, well, they have a surplus of outfielders. Why do they need an outfielder? If you look at the next picks after,
They're all shortstops.
Shortstops,
Outfielders.
they're all shortstops up into pick 12.
No, I think Jamie, correct me if I'm wrong. I think what you're suggesting is it's not about this year, because you can't project for this year. No. It's not the NFL draft. It's not like you select somebody, they're going to be playing for you in a couple of months. We won't see this kid at best for another 2 years. And he went to college, so he should be up.
Being ready.
He should be up in 2 years or so. I mean, if you look at like that 21 draft, that's the draft of Garrett Crochet and I believe Nick Gonzalez, who's the second baseman for the Pirates. They've got guys up right now that also played in college. So we're looking at a 2 or 3 year window for him because, again, he played in college. So that's not what Jamie's saying. I think what Jamie's saying is you have had a run on high-end bats of late. I think the expectation was maybe they pivot and go with a pitcher. But what everybody's saying is accurate. This first round, especially in the top 15, wasn't jammed with pitchers. Wasn't stockpile with pitchers. So they took the best player available, which is what they should do. And when you read that he could have went number 1 overall at some point, you feel good about it. What Jamie and I are saying is when you read the scouting report, it screams Cardinal Nation. Down to the point where the kid is saying, I had a dream that I was a Cardinal. Like, what Jamie's saying is like, this is unbelievable how predictable this often becomes for the Cardinals.
He wanted to be here. What the hell is your problem?
Nevertheless, he's not old. Nevertheless, he's a 5-tool player, somebody that can run, he got a little power, and he's a high contact guy. Should be up within 2 to 3 years. That's great. That's excellent. I think the other conversation, which we'll get into a little bit later, is does this pick make anybody expendable? Maybe not now, but soon. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into that as well. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. And again, the Cardinals have made a couple more selections today as the second round continues. Let me get to their other selections here. They took a pitcher, Oklahoma State's Brian Holiday, which would be interesting. Maybe we can contact Matt Holiday, and not that these two are related, but
I was like,
he's at
they're
Oklahoma
not
State.
related, Anthony.
No, but he
I
coached.
thought you just did the
But
thing.
Matt's brother coaches at Oklahoma State, and somebody that Matt has spent a lot of time with that program. So, I'd be interested in his thoughts because obviously we don't know a ton about Brian Holiday. Ryan Campos, Arizona State catcher, was their third pick, which is in the fourth round, and then their fifth round pick, Braden Davis, Oklahoma. He's a pitcher and he's a lefty. So far, 4 selections, all college, which is good.
Yeah.
Because again, this is a faster track. You have more experience. They went the high school route a couple of years ago. We're seeing it right now. Jordan Walker, excellent year last year, and now he's in AAA. He may stay there the rest of the year. Mason Wynn, high schooler, he's up and he's having a phenomenal season. So it's interesting that Randy Flores, the Cardinals scouting director and the man who's in charge of these drafts, has gone collegiate now. And I wonder if they're starting to jump things. They're trying to jumpstart things quicker now with their program.
Can I address one more text here from 314? So Jamie, how can you say he's a utility player when you've never seen him play? Oh, that's pretty much what they call him. On the scouting report said he could play
Swiss Army
shortstop,
knife.
second base, maybe even left field.
Yeah.
What does that say? I don't have to see a guy to know that if he wears multiple gloves out there, he's probably a utility guy.
This reminds me of system quarterback. And system quarterback winds up being a negative connotation. All quarterbacks play in a system. It's just maybe a quarterback fits a specific system. Utility player is not a negative connotation. Brendan Donovan is a utility player. It means he could play multiple spots. Tommy Edman is kind of a utility player. I think people think of utility players back in the day where it's like, you're coming off the bench, you can play anywhere. That's not what Jamie's referring to. At least I don't think.
I think, and maybe I'm wrong, the way that it's said, this feels like a prototypical Cardinal move. I feel like there's some negative connotation with that.
I just mean it's very safe.
It's the blueprint.
It's the blueprint. It's very predictable. He's there. He's
For
going to
sure.
be.
But a lot of people don't like that.
No. And I think in this case, we don't mean it that way. It's just read the damn scouting report. If you don't come away saying, "Yep, Cardinals," then I don't know. I don't know what you've been watching over the last 10 years now. All right, what's trending is next on 101 ESPN.
If you are in the market for replacement windows, please call my friends over at Window World. Let's not forget they are the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. They're also ranked number 1 in number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. And their windows are durable. Let me say that. They got a double-strength glass that you just don't see ordinarily in replacement windows. And I was over at the showroom and stood on one of these windows, and it didn't break. So you're getting a really good product there. You're also getting a lifetime warranty on those windows. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, and the labor. And their customer service is absolutely fantastic over at Window World. They get in there, they measure everything properly, they custom order your windows, install them, and then if you have any questions, they answer those questions, and they take great care of you. They're also, right now, offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. And all you have to do is call over there. Tell them Jamie from 101 ESPN sent you. That number is 314-993-1800. Again, that number is 314-993-1800. Or you can always visit windowworldstlouis.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals split with the Cubs over the weekend. They end the midway point heading into the All-Star break. 50-46 or 4.5 games behind Milwaukee for that first place spot in the National League Central. We're going to talk with Kyle Hiebert from City SC. Some big news for Kyle. He's going to join us next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. We've got Kyle Hiebert of St. Louis City SC and the Canadian national team joining us right now with Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter. Kyle, thanks so much for joining us, man. It's been a while. It's good to hear you again.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me on. It has been a while.
So we added a member of the Fast Lane too, Carey. I don't know if Carey has ever had the pleasure of speaking with Kyle, but we talked to Kyle throughout the City SC's season last year, Carey.
I think we talked on the opening drive a couple of times.
Okay, well, fair enough. Yeah, so Carey's here as well. But Kyle, first and foremost, congratulations on making the Canadian national team again. You guys had a hell of a run in Copa America, and how'd you feel overall about the way that you guys performed?
Yeah, it was a special group. I think we could kind of tell that from the start. We had some friendlies in Europe, and our last one we tied France 0-0, and France was number 2 in the world, and so we kind of went into the Copa America with a good feeling that we had a good group, that we could compete, and that we could achieve history for Canada, which Canada had never won a game at a major tournament, never gotten out of a group, gone through to a next stage. So it was a lot of historic moments for Canada soccer, and it was really, really special to get to be a part of that.
Yeah, Kyle, I was going to say, growing up in Canada, soccer wasn't. Well, it was there, but it wasn't a sport that you were usually, tied in with some of the major players in the sport of soccer. And for you guys to get as far as you got, I mean, it says a lot about where the Canadian program has gotten to with some of their soccer. What's some of the things that you've noticed with Canadian soccer that has really gotten them to a good spot?
Yeah, I would say, just having players, we've got players playing all over the world now. It's in Europe. We got players in MLS, and, some of those MLS guys, like there's always this thing in these big competitions where it's like, oh, is this guy in the MLS or is he in, the Premier League, one of these bigger leagues? But the MLS guys, who were starting for us did phenomenally well, showed that, the MLS guys, we belong, at these major tournaments. And for Canada, I feel like the better we can do, the exposure and the traction, and it's all just gaining ground. And hopefully we can be, paving the road for the next generation of younger Canadians as well.
Kyle, I want to shift gears a little bit. Coach Carnell was fired a couple of weeks ago. Obviously, that's not something you want to ever see as a player. What has been the mindset of the team since that transition?
For St. Louis?
Yeah, for City.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, for me personally, it was like when I was with Canada, I was obviously aware of everything going on in St. Louis, watching the games. I reached out to Coach Carnell and just told him thank you for, giving me an opportunity in the MLS and all that, and for all that he's done for me. But I really wasn't with the guys these past couple of weeks. Today was my first day back training, and so it's been, obviously the results haven't gone our way, but Coach Hack is the guy who coached me with City 2. I've got a great relationship with him, and we're looking forward to, we're not dead yet, so we're looking forward to responding, and it starts on Wednesday in Seattle.
Kyle, again, watching or seeing a coach get fired is never a good thing. I've been through that as a player, going through the transition to a new coach. But for you guys with the team, last year, a really good season, and it seemed like everything was trending in the right direction. A tougher season this year overall, there's no doubt. But was there anything in particular that had changed at all from last year to where you could see, you know what, maybe it's time for a new voice?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I tend to not even think about that. Those higher decisions that are made by the owners or the sporting director. I think where I always went with it, and where my first thought was when Bradley got fired, is taking a look in the mirror, because at the end of the day, I've been gone from City for a couple of weeks, but I was a player on the team. I was a player who had, down the stretch, at the start of the year, couple injuries, but then got healthy and was starting. And as a player, you feel a responsibility for contributing to your team and helping get results. And when the results don't go your way and a coach pays the price of getting fired, I think the best mindset that I've had, and I know a lot of guys at City have too, is take a look in the mirror and say, okay, what do I need to change, or what can I do better to help this team, to help this program, and to help this city.
Kyle Hiebert joins us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Kyle, defender, of course, for City SC. Kyle, in your opinion, what has been, because everybody's got opinions, of course, everybody wonders whether or not the league caught up to you, or injuries or whatever. What is, in your opinion, the biggest difference from when you guys were rolling a year ago and you had that chemistry, you had the production, to where you guys are now and unfortunately taking a step back in the second season? What's been missing?
Yeah, I would say last year it felt like we were all going in the same direction. All the guys, the whole club was going in the same direction with a unified mind. And I think there's a lot going on. Like you said, there's injuries. There's a whole bunch of other stuff going on too. But I feel like, throughout this year, we lost a little bit of that kind of all being on that same team-first mindset. And that's been something that I know Coach Carnell and Coach Hackman were trying to get back to, that the we before the me, and the team before the I. And I think if we can do that, that'll shift. That off the field culture and mindset will shift onto the field, and it'll make a big difference.
Kyle, have you been able to keep up with what's going on with the United States men's national team? Have you been paying attention to kind of their firing of their coach and exactly what they need to do to be a better program?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely watched their games at the Copa America, and that's the thing too, is I even think like they get an untimely red card early in the Panama game. They lose that and they don't get out of the group. And it's such even with, you can say all the other stuff going on, the sport is such small margins. I think if they don't get that red card, they get out of the group, Greg Berhalter is still the coach. Mm-hmm. So it's like one decision, one moment where it's like heat of the moment gets to a player, like the whole program and stuff, seems like in disarray. And I'm not in the building with those guys, so I don't know everything that's going on. But I'm sure that, there's, frustrations over not getting out of the group. And I know there's high expectations for that team. And I know they're on the new coach search now. I've heard Jurgen Klopp is an option. I'm not sure who some of the other guys they're taking a look at, but I'm curious to see what does happen, because Canada, we do play the States in a friendly in September. So I'm curious if they have the new guy in already, or if it's an interim for the time being.
Kyle, you guys, you being the Canadian national team, you have faced a slew of different opponents, teams that are from Europe, teams that have either won the Copa America or other massive events. For somebody like me, I don't know soccer that at all, and I see the U.S. national team struggle, and I wonder myself, okay, what's the major difference? I mean, this is decade after decade where the men's side, they can't overcome it. You've played other cities that have great success. Why is there such a massive difference between those countries compared to the U.S. national team? Like, what's the issue?
Yeah, I would even say it's similar if you look at when we talked about St. Louis City earlier, but when I watched, there was a moment, we were playing Argentina in the semifinals, and, one of Argentina's players, Romero, they're winning. He gives the ball away in a terrible position. We get a quality chance, and you expect players, like these players are of the highest caliber, a bunch of players to berate him and yell at him. And I saw 3 Argentinian players walk over and pick his head up and like, hey, it's all good, next one. And so I think there's a real deep passion for the sport and also real deep team camaraderie that can bring programs or countries to the next level. Because at this point, like I said, the margins are so small. The countries all have good players, but it's these extra little things of passion for your country and team camaraderie and putting the team first that elevate, I think, a country like Argentina, who's now won the Copa America, won the World Cup, and then won the Copa America again. And you could see that within that group.
Well, Kyle, we appreciate your time. Again, congratulations on being selected for the Canadian national team, and looking forward to watching you get back to work here with City SC. Thanks for joining us.
Awesome. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys. That's Kyle Hiebert here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN.
Good to hear his voice again.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that
good Canadian boy, Carey.
I see.
We've had some fun with Kyle in the past and stuff, and he plays along and he's great. And conversation a little more serious here. I thought it was interesting what he said about City SC maybe trying to get back to playing for each other and doing so, more as a team now.
So how hard, I guess I should have asked him, how hard is it when you got multiple guys getting injured, you got guys leaving, coming in, throughout the entire season? In other sports, you don't have that much transition. So I wonder if that plays into it as well. Like, it's difficult to kind of all be on the same page when it's new faces, be it injury or, different people coming in and going out.
And you also wonder if last year's success was actually a detriment to the team. Meaning that you got some players now that think maybe they're better than what they are.
I've been on one of those teams.
And then they go into this season expecting to, put up certain numbers or be given so many opportunities or better time on the field, on the pitch, or whatever it is. And when that's not met, then you have disgruntled players or 2 players that are maybe competing. Mm-hmm. You wonder if sometimes the success created a little bit of division within that locker room.
Yeah, definitely. Illinois?
Anthony, yes.
You said that, and I immediately started to think about your NFL teams. I'm like, no, I think he means Illinois.
Yeah. After that Big Ten championship, it was rough, man.
It happens. Sometimes.
Everybody's
Only one ball on the field, Carey.
Yeah, guys, changed a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't good.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Now we have what's trending next.
time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, we just had Kyle Hiebert on the show, and City SC lost to Vancouver 4-1. So that's two matches in a row where they have dropped the match 4-1. They've been outscored 8-2 in their previous two games, 8-4 in the previous three. But you know, after hearing what he had to say, like, where's your thought, where's your head process right now when it comes to this club and where they're at? New coach, a lot of new moving parts for this team.
It sounds like they have to reestablish their culture. Based on what Kyle said about, get back to the team before the individual. I mean, these are things that you, quite honestly, should have figured out last year. That's why you had your success last year, is because a relatively unknown group of players played together, played very well, and played very hard as a team, and you had some success, and you also had tremendous goaltending as well. So I think it's like almost having to reestablish what it is to be a City SC player, because Bradley Carnell, when he came in, he said flat out, this is what we're going to be. This is our identity. I don't know what that is now.
How do you lose that in a year? Like, this
I don't
team,
know.
It felt, like you said, they played really well last year. That aggressive style, getting after guys. But this year, it's not resulting in wins, and so that to me is a bit of a concern to hear. We got to get back to doing what we are accustomed to doing. If you lose that, it's kind of hard to regain in one season during that season.
I wonder if things started to fall apart toward the end of last year, though. Because they were not playing as well toward the end of the year and the playoffs as they were at the start of the season. So maybe the fracture started happening a year ago, and we just didn't want to pay attention to, or at least pay too close attention to it, because they were winning,
right?
Or at least they were having this unprecedented, surprising season. But then you get into this year, and the same problem exists. And now you're losing or drawing consistently, and those same problems become exasperated.
When
maybe this is a year in the making.
When you're having a bad team, you start having player-only meetings.
Oh yeah,
seems to be the last straw. Fans almost look at it as like, good, they'll start to come together. No! That's usually a bad thing.
That's usually when there's some. It goes one of two ways. It can galvanize the group, get back to get all the baggage out. Everybody say what you got to say about whoever.
Yeah.
And I've been in some of those team meetings where guys even square up in the middle of the room and they get it over with, and then you move on, hopefully in a better direction. It's the teams that don't do well with criticism or accountability, then it goes the other way, because now everybody hates everybody then, because I can't believe you said that about me. Well, you suck too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to help us, right?
Boy, just hearing you say that, you're right. It's not just sports. It's in life. So you get a problem with somebody, and you get into this argument. If one of you does not say, okay, I hear your point. You're right.
Right.
You're right on that. You're right. I apologize. If one of you doesn't do that, chances are the other person's not going to do it, and it just becomes this defense, this defensive battle where it's like
defensive struggle,
big time, yeah. And you don't go anywhere. But if somebody says, "Hold on, let me actually listen to you. You're right. I have been doing that, or I have done that. I apologize. I'm going to fix that." And then the other person relaxes, and then you say, here's where I'm seeing from you. And if that person goes, "You're right, I hear you," then you can actually get somewhere. Doesn't mean you're going to, like you said, galvanize the team and everything's going to be fine. But you ain't going to get anywhere if there's not one person says, "My bad."
I have a question for you guys. It could be the dumbest question that you'll hear today.
No.
Let me get to it. Let me build it up before I ask the question. So, obviously, Major League Baseball's draft is going on. The Cardinals selected JJ Wetherholt at number 7.
Probably the best pick in the entire draft.
Maybe in Major League Baseball.
And it's going to be incredible.
Well, that's not the question I wanted to ask.
Okay. Yeah.
So, Albert Pujols was a 13th round pick, and we know how his career played out. We know Tom Brady was his 6th-round pick in the NFL draft. We know his career played out. Which player had the better career relative to where they were drafted in their respective draft?
What a horrible
That
question.
was terrible. I mean, I was trying to wait for it to be great, and it was just.
I told you it was bad. I told you it was a bad question. But we're looking at 13th pick.
Who turned his mic on? Oh, wait, he did it himself.
Oh, no, just kidding.
Relative to where they were drafted.
Are you talking about just
Which one was better?
Pujols or Brady?
So Pujols and Brady, respective sport, but to where they were drafted. So
Brady.
Albert Pujols, he's drafted 13th overall, but also hit
I thought you said-
700 plus home. I'm sorry, not 13th overall, 13th round.
Yeah, but the baseball had 100 rounds.
Yeah,
back
you
then.
can draft until you tired.
Still though, like
It's Brady.
It's Brady.
it is Brady, but
It's Brady.
I thought it would be an interesting question to pose.
You don't find. I mean, if you're not a first-round quarterback, 6th round,
Yeah.
and to go on to be arguably the best quarterback to ever play the game. Like, do you know how many teams, and how many times he got passed up over and over, and how many franchises since he was drafted was still looking for that franchise quarterback, but you passed him up 5 times?
For sure.
Yeah, the hell with that guy. Yeah, there's a
I
lot
get
of
it.
people that
No, I
have
would
lost
say
their
Tom Brady,
jobs.
too.
There's a lot of people that have lost their jobs because they didn't draft Tom Brady. At any
Yeah,
point,
no kidding.
What about, Albert Pujols, let's be honest, we're probably never going to see a player as good as him in quite some time. This guy hit 700 plus home runs. Let's not act like
pretty
that
good.
happens every
You watch
day.
that guy play for the Angels?
Nah.
Oh, Jamie.
Jamie, we don't. You don't. That never happened.
That's because he lost the 2 birds on the bat.
There you go.
You put that uniform
Anthony,
on.
I feel like you respect the question at least.
I respected the question. Yeah,
I
you know
said
what?
it was a
Because
stupid question.
it wasn't a stupid. It was out of the box, and I appreciate out of the box
That was a
questions.
good question.
Appreciate your efforts.
Don't let these 2 guys sway you.
Well,
As
I knew
soon-
Jamie's answer before I even asked the question. And I knew Carey's answer. He's a
Jamie-
football guy.
Jamie hit a Cardinals first-round pick.
He did.
You know, so he's
He's
having
definitely
a
not a
rough
Cardinal
day.
guy.
He's having a
he
rough
did.
day today.
It's been a tough one.
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Where does John Mozeliak feel like this team is heading into the All-Star break? You'll hear from him next on 101 ESPN.
Save money on your car or your home insurance by choosing Allstate and the Bibb Agency. Tracy Bibb and Allstate together work really hard to make sure that they're bringing you the best rates, but they also work extremely hard making sure you have the proper coverage. That's a huge deal, and sometimes when you call those 1-800 numbers, they don't necessarily know all of the insurance stuff that's going on in your state and what the exemptions are. Like some places don't have flood insurance. And then, oh, guess what? You have a flood and then you don't have the proper coverage for it. And then it's an awful experience. Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency, they do have flood insurance. So please check that out as well. But they will go over everything with you to make sure that every policy that you have is a good policy and that you're not putting yourself in a bad spot. And when there is something that happens, it's stress-free to call them. They're going to walk you through the process. They're going to make sure that you are comfortable with what's going on and that you're informed as to what the next steps will be. And all you have to do to get that kind of amazing customer service is give Tracy a call today. Her number's 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
I think you take away the last 3 games. Overall, we've been playing very good baseball. You go back to early May, I think we have like one of the top 3 records in the game. So we obviously got off to a poor start in April. We've been trying to recover from that. I think we've reset ourselves pretty well. Now, ultimately, it's about getting healthy and having a strong second half.
That was Cardinals President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak, talking with Jim Hayes of Bally Sports Midwest on the Cardinals' first half. Jamie, you kind of shot me a look on that one.
Nice.
What are your thoughts on Mo discussing the first half of the Cardinals?
No, I just loved the sound of his voice.
Okay.
It's very soothing.
Okay.
What
That's fantastic because we have a lot of John Mozeliak audio today for you, Jamie.
That's what he wanted to hear.
So buckle up. You're really going to enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Mo.
Can't wait.
Let's hear from Mo on the offense. He gets into 2 guys specifically that, if they start to hit like the back of the baseball card, they'll be in pretty good shape.
We still have a lot of faith that they'll end up with having the type of statistics you see on the back of their baseball cards. And number 2 is it's also created an opportunity for new faces to emerge. I mean, you look at people like Brendan Donovan, Mason Wynn, Mr. Burelson, and their contributions of what they're making. And then you think back to even back in January, if we had been discussing what our team was going to look like, we probably wouldn't have mentioned Siani roaming center field for us, but he's done a Gold Glove caliber type job for us. And so overall, I feel like what you're seeing out of this club right now is a lot of new faces from an offensive standpoint starting to emerge.
I like how John Mozeliak just spun that into a positive thing. He basically took the bad seasons that Goldie and Arenado had and said, but hey, look, you got these guys to it. Like, almost like it wouldn't exist. Like Burleson, Wynn, and those guys couldn't produce
Also
offense
do it right.
if Arenado and Goldie were doing it.
Yeah.
So now that Arenado and Goldie aren't doing it, look what happened. Their powers went over here.
Sure. He's not wrong.
That's the way you worded it. It's like, really?
Yeah.
That's what we hear often is the positive side, the positive spin, and it's part of his job and what he does. If this team has aspirations of being a really good team, and they want to make a playoff run, those 2 players, your Hall of Fame, future potential Hall of Fame players, have to play well. And Arenado getting the big hit in the bottom of the 8th was big for him. That's big for this team. Those things, because when you are a superstar player, you have to show up in superstar moments. And if you don't, you're not going to be a good team. I don't know any other way. There's really no other way to put it. Like, you can rely on Alec Burleson and Mason Wynn and all of the other guys that have been doing such a great job all season long. But at some point, your best players on your team have to be your best players, and they have to show up in those moments, or it's not going to work.
Are you saying that also because you think that the other guys, it just becomes too much for the other guys too?
That as well. Like, there's a reason. I mean, not saying that Mason Wynn won't eventually become a superstar. Hell, maybe Alec Burleson will. No one expected that. He reminds me of a Jake Neighbors, like a guy that came out of nowhere, scored almost 30 goals. Alec Burleson's probably going to hit 30 home runs. Like, no one predicted this. He wasn't even supposed to be a starter, a full-time starter. He's playing outstanding, playing out of his mind. It is awesome. Is it going to sustain? Is it going to continue? I don't know because I haven't seen it. But I do know that the best players on your team have shown it for an entire season, for multiple seasons, and right now they're not. And it's going to come to a point where if those players aren't, it's going to become too much.
It just dawned on me, but in a weird way, I actually think it's worse that Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt are not having worse seasons. They're not having terrible seasons.
You think it's worse that they're just middling?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because I think
because you're stuck with the contracts anyways.
Well, no, I'm not even thinking about the contract aspect of it. It's just like, Nolan Arenado's got a 101 WRC plus. It's actually 1 percentage points higher than average. The problem, as we've discussed, has been the lack of home runs. It's the power aspect. Yeah. He's only got 8. So if he continues to do what he's doing, he's actually been okay from an all around offensive standpoint. And if he's hitting 6, so what? Right? Yeah. Like, you can hit 6 and not be a power guy. The problem is you're banking on that power coming into the season. And if nobody replaces that, or if some of these guys really cool off, to Carey's point, you're going to be in trouble. Goldschmidt's got a 95 WRC plus. Again, he's not been terrible. I think it would almost be, in a weird way, my mind goes to, if you were awful in the first half, there's no way you're not going to come up in the second. But where they are right now, it's just kind of around average.
I see what you're saying.
I could see them staying average and us having this conversation each and every month from here on out.
I think they simply need to take this all-star break time and both get on a flight and find out wherever Albert Pujols is and find out how he did it at the all-star break to come back and absolutely murder baseballs.
He participated in the home run derby.
Yeah.
Maybe they can recreate their own home run derby somewhere.
Find a different find a baseball field somewhere.
Miles Mikolas can throw for them.
Oh,
wow. How long have you been, were you sitting on that one for the entire segment? You just thought of it?
I just thought of it. I was going to say Lance Lynn.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, but I mean,
Miles is a little more recent.
Arenado is down low in the batting order.
True.
So sets up nicely.
Oh, Jamie. That hurts big time for him. Not necessarily me, I don't care. Wilson Contreras has got a 161 WRC plus. He still leads it. Burelson 128, Donovan 117. So Mo was right. They've had other guys contribute. Win is at 107. Or I'm sorry, 109. Ivan Herrera's at 107. Lars Nootbaar's at 104. You have guys that were middling that are starting to pop up here, including Arenado. It's just, 8 home runs. Are you going to have 12 in the second half? Can you get to 20? Is that asking too much?
Oh, I thought you meant get to 12.
No. My God, I hope you get to 12.
It's like when you said,
can he get to 20?
Yeah.
No.
Can he hit 12 more?
No chance.
Okay.
He's got less games to hit 12 than he did to hit 8.
I understand that, but you can get like a home run just like anything else, or you can get high.
18 and a half on the line. You going? Would you bet
under.
the over? Or
No, I'd go under.
How crazy is that, though? It's Nolan Arenado. We're betting the under on that.
You're right. He hasn't. So for reference sake, and we won't count the Colorado years for obvious reasons, but he had 26 last year. He had 30 the year before, and 34 as a Cardinal his first year.
There is
34,
there is a
30,
descent.
26, 8. Now the other years were full seasons, but I mean it's
going to be a full season.
It shouldn't be like 20. If he finished with 20 home runs, it would be a down year.
You would feel better.
You would feel better from where you are right now.
Yeah.
No question.
That's alarming, a bit concerning.
At the very least,
15,
you moved
14.
him out of that cleanup spot, though. You had to.
At least he's where he should be right now.
Yes. Based on his offensive profile right now, Nolan Arenado is where he should be at 6.
He gets a couple of days off. He'll be able to reset. Friday, he'll be back.
You don't believe that.
No.
That's the problem.
Everybody gets, if you're not going to the All-Star game or you're doing anything, you get to reset. You get to go home and relax and not worry about it. Hit the reset button. Start over. Brand new season.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
How long?
And if you can convince yourself that.
Yeah, sure.
The way Arenado's batting right now, which is fine, and he's had a pretty good series against Cubs, how long till he tells Ollie he wants to be back in the 4-hole?
Oh, he doesn't make that. He doesn't get that option.
Oh, he will.
He can say it. You can ask for whatever you want, Jamie.
But the contract and the player, and as forceful as
you're still playing every day.
Let me ask you guys this before we hit the break. Let me ask you guys this: the bigger issue right now, Goldie or Arenado, for this season? Forget the contracts and all that stuff. Just this season, what's the bigger issue? I won't even say who because I don't want to make it personal.
But who?
Goldie or Arenado? What's the bigger issue? Because to me, it's obvious.
I think it's Goldie.
I agree.
I think it's
because he's still in the cleanup spot.
Yeah.
With 13 home runs.
And there's very little cleanup there.
I won't talk about. You're right. I won't talk about the RBI because the RBI it's just as much about guys getting on in front of him. I'm just talking about the actual power numbers.
I mean,
for Goldie.
Yeah, but guys are getting on in front of him.
That's problematic.
Look at your top three of the order. You got Wynn, Burleson, Contreras, then Goldie. Those guys are all getting on.
Well, then it's a problem, Jamie. I don't know.
Yeah, like they won't get to 100 RBIs.
He's 9th in
combined,
slugging on the team.
Maybe.
Not even, I bet. What?
Paul Goldschmidt is 9th in slugging percentage among qualified. I don't even say qualified hitters because it's a relative term. Guys that have at least 40 plate appearances.
On the Cardinals.
On the Cardinals. He is 9th in slugging percentage at 373. Herrera, Arenado, Nootbaar, Wynn, Donovan, Gorman, Burleson, and obviously Wilson Contreras, all higher slugging percentages than Goldschmidt. That is the bigger problem.
Yeah, that's not good.
No. By default, because Arenado has moved out. Fix it?
Fix it.
Okay. I'm going to hire you. Because I know what you're going to do. You're going to burn the farm system to bring in Luis Robert and Garrett Crochet.
I'm not going to burn the farm system, but I do have another player that I can offer now.
You're not going to get much for that player.
Don't worry about it. And we're good.
What's your problem with him?
I don't know. He's been mad all day.
What, me?
Yeah. It's fine.
Not in a good mood.
Okay, fair. Does Miles Mikolas' performance up the ante for the Cardinals at the deadline? Will they get more aggressive than maybe they were beforehand after the start from Miles Mikolas? The answer is no. We'll tell you why next on 101 ESPN.
It is hot out there, 97 degrees hot. It's really hot. And if you're tired of paying those high utility bills every month because your AC just keeps running and running, trying to keep you cool, it's probably because your windows are not energy efficient. If yours are builder grade or over 8 years old, the seals could be broken, which means air is leaking out and you're in the house sweating and paying a lot. If you're paying those high utility bills all year long, Window Nation's high quality windows are built to last a lifetime. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you get 2 windows free. There's no limit to how much you can save. Plus, you can save even more with 0 down, 0 interest, or payments for 24 months. Window Nation's windows come with a lifetime warranty and can be installed in 1 day or less. They even recently were ranked highest on Forbes' list best window installation companies. So you can trust that Window Nation will have high-quality, affordable windows. Stop paying more than you have to. Schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90Nation or go online at windownation.com. That's 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, 0 down, 0 interest, or payments for 24 months. 866-90Nation or visit them online at windownation.com.
I did something earlier today that I think we'd get a question, and we get questions differently. I didn't do anything wrong this time. Jamie?
I just didn't know what you did. You said I did something earlier.
Well, I thought of a question.
Oh, okay.
And I feel as though, Jamie, that this would be a question that we typically get from Cardinals listeners, Cardinals fans, our guy Marshy, who is both. I thought about how Miles Mikolas struggled again over the weekend, and I wondered to myself, I wonder if his struggles up the ante now for the Cardinals at the trade deadline. So, in other words, instead of maybe getting that fifth starter or fourth starter, because Lance Lynn has also been inconsistent, maybe they'll aim a little higher, right? Then I came back to my senses, and I thought to myself,
I was worried,
Anthony, you dumb, you know what? The Cardinals don't operate that way. So it's almost like I asked the question and responded how I would normally respond. I don't think there's any way that his struggles mean the Cardinals will get more aggressive at the deadline. But I'll throw the question out to you guys. Like, to me, they don't change their philosophy. They don't change their approach. They are who they are. If there's a contact hitter sitting there at 7th overall, and they've got somebody that can, he can play every position on the diamond, by God, he's going to be a Cardinal by the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think they get more aggressive, Jamie. What about you?
No. Not at all. Because here's the way they think. Oh, yeah, it was a rough one for Miles Mikolas, but did you see the start before that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the one before that was... The one before that was terrible, and the one before that was really good.
Yeah.
You are getting, like, really good or really bad for Miles Mikolas. Mm-hmm. There is no middling for him right now.
No.
So I think the Cardinals will look at it as, well, he can pitch. You've seen him. Look at some of the games he's thrown. He can get deep. He can get the strikeouts. He can get the outs. He's our guy. We're fine. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be their mentality.
Yeah.
I believe I heard John Mozeliak say over the weekend that there is going to be a lot of competition at the trade deadline, which means we ain't competing. That's how I take it. Like, we ain't competing with them. Hell, we look like spending.
There will be. He's almost talking about it in the distance. You know what? Over there, they're going to be fighting for players.
Yeah. And it's going to be too hard to attain the players because if there's more competition, means you got to give up more to get what you want back. We're okay. We're fine with what we have. Mm-hmm. We trust our guys. Our guys are going to be ready come second half. They're going to play better. Right, Jamie? Even if they haven't played well up until this point or well enough. Magically, because it is the second half of the season, after the All-Star break, a little bit less than the second half, we'll be better. We'll be fine. And you should believe that, Anthony. And if you don't, then it's your fault that we're not better.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that, too. It is Anthony's fault.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
I'm just saying. You got to have a belief that it's going to be better. And if it's not, it's not my fault.
I don't control anything.
Neither does he.
I think he controls more than I do.
Ish.
Yeah. I just don't see, unfortunately, and I hate being that guy right now, because, like, last year I don't feel like I was that guy. But now I feel like that guy. There's just like, the Cardinals are just going to do nothing. Like, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I just don't know.
They won't do nothing.
They won't do nothing, but
it's not going to be.
It's nothing
It's
sexy.
not going to be sexy. No. It never will be.
No.
Does the team get better because of it? I think that's
probably.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so if they get better, then it's fine. Right?
Yeah, to some.
Well,
you will have
I don't even know if getting better is a prerequisite. I think it's, we tried.
Did you, though?
If Mo could say, hey, we made some moves.
Oh, I think
I hate it.
I agree. I agree he'll say that. But you know what? They will improve. But this is also part of the frustrating thing, right? The bar is so damn low sometimes. You're like, yeah, you did. Payroll went up, didn't it? Yeah, it did.
Ish.
You're right.
Well,
our pitching staff got better, didn't it? Yeah, it had to.
It was terrible.
It was horse last year. Yeah, they're that. They're that annoying friend that's like, well, right? Yeah, you're right. Still want to punch you.
They are right. They are right. It got better. If you go out and make a move at the deadline for a bullpen piece, You got better.
Okay, let me put it another way, Carey. They could fall over into, they could like knock into a starting pitcher that's available at the deadline and have that starting pitcher be an upgrade over Lance Lynn or their fifth spot.
Yes.
So they're going to improve at the deadline.
Yeah.
And isn't that what you want?
To what you just said, Jamie, yes, I do, but there's still something pulling at you where you're like,
ain't good enough.
What you said, we made some moves.
Yeah.
We feel like we got better.
We tried several other moves, and the deals just weren't right. But it wasn't for, lack of effort.
Yeah.
We feel that we have gotten better and feel like the team is going to continue to improve, and some of our stars are going to get better. And, so really giving ourselves a chance here in the Central.
It's like, hey, we need a right-handed bat. Sweet. Let's go. Brent Rooker. Here's Kevin Pillar. Like, hey, we need a starter at the deadline. Sweet. Go out and get Garrett Crochet. Not doing that. Max Scherzer. Here's Eric Fetty. Like, that's how it's going to be.
And we gave up Jordan Walker.
Oh, God. No.
You knew where I was going.
Yeah, I totally knew where you were going.
It'll be fine. They'll make some moves at the deadline. It'll be fine.
I'm still waiting for that one moment where Mo just shocks the hell out of me. I know it's
he kind of did with Arenado, right?
Did he really, though?
No.
The Rockies general manager basically called him and said, take this guy. I don't care what you give me back.
Right.
That's not really shocking.
Right.
It was the worst
I've been
kept
drinking
secret.
since 8 a.m.
It was the worst kept secret in all of baseball.
Yeah.
Like, everybody knew. The media knew he was coming here before Mozeliak knew.
Right.
So that didn't shock me.
That was like a prearranged marriage.
Pretty much, yes.
The Cardinals just opened their door and Arenado
let him in.
Like, this is sweet. How much do I owe?
Nothing.
Basically nothing.
Yeah, really not that first year.
We're going to pay you to take him.
That should have been the first indication. Like, wait a minute. No, he's been a
great
Cardinal. He has.
He absolutely has.
We're having fun. We've gone too far. Mostly Carey. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. As an athlete, when you know that your role has changed, we'll talk to our former athletes about that next.
Like Carey's elbow.
On 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you don't know about Scrap Mart Metals, let me tell you, they are the best company for your business. If you need recycling, you need to reach out to them. They are tailor-made for you and can meet your schedule and budget. They understand that job site cleanup for contractors can be a mess, and if you set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal, it'll be one less thing you have to do during cleanup. If you're a plumber, a heating and cooling excavator, or a contractor, Scrap Mart Metals Recycling can make your job that much easier. If you own that heavy equipment, it breaks down over and over again. You're repairing it. Eventually, it's going to break down for good, and you're going to have to get rid of it. Scrap Mart will come get it out of your way. They will haul it to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you want to haul it yourself, they have 3 convenient locations: Valley Park, Peebly, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they buy it. It's recycling made easy. They offer a convenient drive-on scale and have the highest payout. You'll always get top dollar for your scrap metals. Just visit them at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting up a business account to get you rolling. It's really simple. That's scrapmartmetals.com, and tell them Carey sent you.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals, they split with the Cubs over the weekend after losing 8-3 yesterday. They'll head into the All-Star break with a 50-46 record, 4.5 games back of Milwaukee for that first spot in the National League Central. They are in the second wild card spot as of now, heading into the All-Star break. Speaking of that, we'll have the Home Run Derby for you tonight, starting at 7 right here on 101 ESPN. Also, Major League Baseball's draft is going on, and the Cardinals selected JJ Wetherholt at number 7 out of West Virginia. We talked a little bit about that. If you missed that or anything from today's show, including our interview with Kyle Hiebert from City SC, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. As an athlete, when do you know your role has changed? We're going to dive into that next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I think the big thing is, I've always said it my whole career. I'm like, if I'm better than that guy, I should be given that opportunity. And when I went to Dallas, obviously they got Heiskanen, and then now they have Thomas Harley, a couple of young guys. And it was like, okay, yep, now it's time. They are definitely better than me at that, and I'm good with that. So I think that's kind of always been my thing is, if I can still do it, then I should be able to be given the chance to do it. If not, I totally get it, and I'm going to help that other guy do that role.
So it was Ryan Suter who became Ferrario last week. He was talking about the role that he accepted once he got to Dallas. And I think, guys, as an athlete, where you are during your career, you probably have to change roles a lot. You know, early on in your career, you have more of a say on that. But as you change teams and as you get older, Jamie, I've heard you talk about this, you figure out what the team needs and you do that. But you guys can tell it in your own words. When you hear Ryan Suter talk about that, as an athlete, when do you know that your role needs to change?
It's difficult sometimes to be self-aware because the brain operates the same, but the body doesn't.
Sure.
So the brain sometimes tries to fool you into thinking that that time has not yet arrived to where your role should change. But you can usually tell by the things that surround you. You can tell, like for hockey, for me, instance, you see the young players being drafted. You see where they kind of slot in. You start to see opportunity that they're getting in situations that you used to get. And then you see where your matchups are, where you're slotting in the lineup. And you see it. It's happening right in real time. It's happening. And you have two ways to go about it. The first one, usually your instincts kick in, and you're like, I'm not letting this happen. Mm-hmm. No chance. Nobody's taking my spot. I'm better than this guy. I can do that. And it's not that you voice it publicly to like the locker room or anybody else. You want to go reclaim your spot. Then you realize that there's no reclaiming your spot. So now what do you do? Are you a bad teammate? Are you a pouty guy that walks around the locker room and is lip dragging? Or do you take the job that you've been given, your new role, embrace it, and maximize it? And for me, a little bit of both happened. Point in my career, I was upset. I was angry. I thought everybody was like out to get me. That coach doesn't like me. Screw him. And finally, for me, where it evolved was when I went to the Red Wings. And it helped that they basically told me, here's your role. This is why we signed you. Yeah. And I realized they had just drafted Mikolas, who ends up being a future stud, playing left defense and whatnot. So I knew he was there to leapfrog me when the time was right. So I embraced the situation and became a really good veteran player, helped the young guys, did what I needed to do for the team, always found a way to contribute in some way, even if that meant you're not playing tonight, but you still show up to the rink, have a good time, encourage the guys, be there, be a part of things. Like, you're not just like secluding yourself. So how do you know when? You kind of feel it happening, but you definitely see it by what your role is to the team. Never mind what you think your role is. How the team views you is pretty much where you're at. Mm-hmm. And it's up to you to either flip the switch and become the best at what you can do, or just sit there and be pissed off all the time.
Okay, so it's interesting that you say that about the Red Wings flat out telling you, hey, this is why we signed you. Yeah. I mean, do every team, I would think every team would do that.
No, they don't. No, they lie to you, actually. I'm not even joking. Yeah. Well, we see, look at potential top 4 minutes. Obviously, things going to, work a certain way, but I'd be really interested. Top 4, okay, can I get top 4 money? Well, no, we're not there yet. We'll give you, bottom 2 money, but you could play top 4. That's why you should be, come sign with us.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, I sign here. And then you're like, shouldn't have signed here. Well, you're angry at that point.
Yeah.
So the Red Wings were great. During the negotiations, it was pretty simple. We need a veteran guy who's going to come in here, be a really good teammate, play physical for us. We don't really have a lot of physicality in this lineup, but we also need a guy that can move the puck and skate and do all those things too, because we're a talented hockey team. Mm-hmm. And I knew right away when you're training, I'm like, I know my role.
Yeah.
So went out and started hitting guys and making good passes and being available in the offensive side, and then just tried to be a really good teammate.
I think Jamie hit the nail on the head. You know when they start drafting your position.
Yeah.
Like, they start drafting guys. They're trying to get younger. I told you all, I had a coach tell me, our job is to tolerate you till we can replace you. Your job is to not be replaced. And that's essentially what it is. It's always them trying to get younger, find someone better, faster, bigger, stronger. Someone that can do what you do and do it for cheaper and maybe a little bit quicker than what you do as you get into your older age. So it is much better for you when you realize kind of the role that you have, when you have those honest conversations going into free agency with a team that is trying to sign you. What do you see me doing? What is my role? Am I playing? Am I here for mentorship? Am I here, in case of break glass, in case of emergency? Like, what is the role you have for me? The part where it gets frustrating for players, like I've seen guys who, practiced all week and get to the stadium and their uniform isn't hanging up in the locker. Wait, what? Because if your locker is empty, that means you are inactive today, buddy. Who is going to tell me that? Nobody. And doesn't go well. So having those honest conversations as a player, the older you get, with the front office, with the coaching staff, what you're doing, who you are, what they expect, it helps. It never helps anyone in the locker room when you're lying to guys.
Yeah.
Because now there's a level of distrust, amongst that player and his friends, and now it can kind of go throughout the entire locker room. But having those open and honest conversations does help a player.
I would imagine so too, because you want to be professional, but at the same time,
it's emotional.
You believe in yourself.
Tough,
you believe in your abilities, and if the team is lying to you, it winds up being this team,
Totally.
Screw it. I'll play for my teammates. I don't want to go out and embarrass myself, but you don't create that culture that you want that way. As opposed to being honest and say, look, here's our role for you, or this is what were our expectations. If you meet those, you will be rewarded. If not, then, you're going to be inactive, or you're not going to be on this team. At least you have that honest communication. But it doesn't surprise me that maybe bad organizations still fall into the trap of
I wouldn't even say just bad organizations. I think, at times the organization is going to do what they feel is in their best interest. So, it may be in their best interest to try to keep you happy and not really piss you off if I can, because I don't know how it's going to turn out. You may actually play these minutes, but maybe not. Sure. But I don't want you to be frustrated or kind of, fall to the wayside and not be so dialed in, because you already know what the expectation is. Hell, that person that they drafted or brought in may not be what they expected them to be, and they may need you to step in and fill that void. So sometimes they don't actually tell you for fear that they could lose you mentally if they tell you the truth.
I'd be remiss, too, if I didn't bring up the 06-07 Blues organization, because I was unrestricted at the time, and John Davidson had just come in, and JD reached out to me and said, hey, look, we're interested in bringing you back to St. Louis. How do you feel about that? And I was pretty excited because I was living here in the off season anyways and whatnot. And he said, hey, no lying here. Our role for you is you're going to be a 6'7" defenseman. You're going to get us through some of these injuries we have early in the season. And if things don't go according to plan, ice time's probably going to get less and less free because we have young guys that are going to have to come in and play and want you to be a good leader in the locker room. And that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
And there were times during the season when I was there where I was elevated to top 4 and played big minutes, but then I knew that was the outlier. I knew I was going back to what I needed to do following that. So John Davidson and the organization, Mike Kitchen at the time was the head coach, were super honest. And when I played well, I got rewarded. I get a little more ice time here, maybe getting a game here where maybe I wasn't supposed to play, but they played me anyways.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of games where I was paired up with Eric Brewer, and we were out there, top matchup. Remember one night our assignment was to shut down Sidney Crosby. We did. We won the game. It was a great game in Pittsburgh, but that was a one-off. I couldn't do that every night at that point in my career, but I still had those one-off games where I could, and they knew that, and they didn't lie to me.
Yeah.
And I've never disgruntled with that.
That's good. That's Jamie Rivers. That's Carey Davis. I'm Anthony Stalter's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. We need a new Gauntlet contestant. So if you want to participate in the Gauntlet, text in 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. Again, if you want to play in the Gauntlet, please text in, and you have your opportunity to face one of us coming up at 4 o'clock. Has Alec Burleson and the current organization, like the draft classes, the farm system, has it made a certain player expendable for the Cardinals? That's next on 101 ESPN.
Well, the real estate market is a tricky market, that's for sure. Houses going really quickly, then housing slows down, the interest rates are all over the place. Well, if you're looking to sell your home anytime soon, please call Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. A couple reasons why. Gloria already has the buyers for you. She's got a database with thousands of buyers that are ready, willing, and able to purchase your home. That drives a lot of traffic to your listing. And again, more eyeballs is always better. Sometimes it can create multiple offers, and ultimately, you want the most money you can possibly get for the sale of your home. And Gloria Liu is experienced in this market. She knows what the trends are. She knows when to list your home. She knows how much to list your home for. And then she walks you through the process and watches you as you get to the closing table and you sell your home and you make the most money you possibly can. And that's all because Gloria Liu is the best in the business. So please pick up the phone, call Gloria Liu, tell her Jamie Rivers sent you. Her number's 314-325-6888. Again, that's 314-325-6888. Or you can always visit gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Hammer toward right. Suzuki's going to turn. That ball is gone. Another splashdown homer. This time it's Burelson. And the Cardinals get a run back. 29th RBI for Burelson since June 17th. That's the most in the major leagues.
That's Chip Carey from Bally Sports Midwest. Alec Burelson had himself one hell of a first half. In fact, I don't know where the Cardinals would be right now without him, considering that you're middle of the lineup. One, because of Willson Contreras being out for as long as he was because of the forearm injury, but also, of course, because of Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado having below-average seasons for their careers. I don't think you'd be where you are right now with this, where you are in terms of 4.5 games back of Milwaukee. You could be way worse than that without Alec Burelson.
Oh, you'd be nowhere near here. Let's be honest, with Goldie and Arenado the way they are, and without Alec Burelson, you'd be screwed.
You'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
But, Jamie, you started thinking about Alec Burelson in relation to the choice of the Cardinals' first-round selection last night.
Yeah, a little bit. So to start this exercise properly, what is the number one thing the Cardinals need at the deadline?
Pitching.
Pitching, okay? What do you have to give away or to trade that other teams would view as valuable? You've got Jordan Walker. Mm-hmm. Who knows what the market is on him?
Yeah.
Who else do you think you have that would attract some interest?
Prospect-wise or in general?
Anything.
Tinkens,
yeah.
Nolan Gorman.
Okay.
Maybe Ivan Herrera, Ryan Helsley. Yeah,
okay.
But, yeah.
So, Anthony, you said an interesting name, Nolan Gorman. Reason I say Gorman is Alec Burelson has become what Nolan Gorman was. Like, Gorman still got the pop, he's got the home runs, but he really has not, he has been hot or extremely cold. And Burelson just keeps plugging away. He's, on the season, Burleson's got 17 home runs and he's got 14 doubles. And he's a left-handed bat in your lineup. Mm-hmm. So I think that Nolan Gorman becomes almost expendable a little bit. And Burelson, by the way, is 25 years old.
Yeah.
Everything's Burleson's like 28, 29. Right. No, he's 25 years old. Mm-hmm. So when I look at what do I have as a Cardinals organization that could go be a part of a package for a Crochet or a player of like that ilk, you go, okay, Nolan Gorman's a really good starting piece. And the reason I say Gorman as well is you've got Sajasi can play that middle infield. You've got your number 1 draft pick now that can play that infield. Not right away, I get it. But you could also move Tommy Edman to second base and leave Ciani in center field. And your lineup is probably better that way. Certainly defensively, it's locked down. But maybe then you could add that pitcher. So, and I don't think it's Gorman for Crochet.
Yeah, right.
I think it's Gorman plus something.
You're talking about a package with Gorman as the centerpiece.
With Gorman being the centerpiece, because at 24 years old, I think is what he is right now. He might be 25. Either way, he's right in that area. Right. Left-handed bat, lots of pop. People go, oh, you're crazy, get rid of that guy. But you're not, because Alec Burelson has taken on that role. Mm-hmm. So it's letting you make this move for something you really need, which is pitching.
Carey, you seem disgusted.
Well, because I
trade him for anything.
Well, no, I felt like if you were going to do that, you should have done it in the offseason.
But you didn't. But Carey, you didn't know what Alec Burelson was.
It didn't matter.
It did, though.
It didn't matter because here's why. Because your expectation was that Goldie and Arenado, you would be in the same place. If in my mind, you would be in the same place right now had you traded Nolan Gorman last year in the offseason or before the season started. In the offseason, you would be in the same exact place.
It wouldn't have made any sense.
It would have.
No, it wouldn't have because he had 24 home runs last year. Wouldn't have made sense.
He had the potential and power, and that was what people saw. That was the expectation. Now when you watch him, when you've seen a full season or will see a full season, you see more flaws. People pay for what they don't know. Like, I don't know. I pay for the potential and not the flaw. He's got 129 strikeouts, which is 83 more than Alec Burelson has. Like, he is literally hit or miss. And to me, if I'm going to give up, I think you would have gotten more for him last season. You might have been able to do a 1-for-1 in the offseason. You can't do a 1-for-1 now because you see what he is. And he has power. He will touch seats. He will hit the ball really, really far when he hits the ball. And when he doesn't, he's going to be watching baseball from the dugout and waiting for his next opportunity to get in the bat. And the defense has been, he was at one point, I don't know if he still is, he at one point was leading second baseman in errors. So you got to see him play full time, which puts him in a position, or puts your team in a position, to not get as much back as if you would have traded him in the offseason. In my opinion, the Cardinals have been, 1 year behind in all of these thought processes. You were 1 year behind in Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. You're 1 year behind in what you could have got for Nolan Gorman. If you'd have done this last offseason, the Cardinals would be in a really good position with a lot of starting pitching and a really good team that would allow them to have the success that they need to have.
Yeah, I mean, I see your point. I don't know if I agree, just from the simple standpoint of you didn't, like, you could say, Goldie and Arenado, they were going to do that, but the emergence of Burleson is really what has created this. And you didn't know that last offseason.
But you expected that to be Jordan Walker. Like, what you're getting from Alec Burleson is what you expected Jordan Walker to be.
The left-handed bat. The left-handed bat. Because this is what's important about it, is the value of Gorman last year, last offseason. What you're talking about was that power left-handed bat.
Yep.
And you didn't know that Burleson could do what he's doing now from the left side of the plate. And you're right. Maybe seeing him more has driven the market down a little bit, but I don't think it's that much, because teams are still just coveting that power left-handed bat. And I think that if you spiced it up with the right piece, that I think you could go and get something good. I mean, Anthony, what's your...
Yeah, so I have always maintained, not always, but since the offseason I've maintained, I'm not trading Nolan Gorman because I'm not giving up a power left-handed bat, like you're saying. I've talked about this in relation to Colton Parayko. And what has always been said about Parayko, as soon as you trade Parayko, you're going to be looking for
the next
Colton Parayko, because of his skill set. For me, though, we're not talking about a defenseman. We're talking about potentially adding top end pitching. And I'm more of the line of thinking of add that top end pitching when you can, as opposed to keeping that power left-hander in the organization. So let's just take Seattle for an example. Seattle keeps being brought up, the Mariners keep being brought up as a potential option for the Cardinals to make a deal, because they have young pitching, but they need bats. You have some bats, you don't have the young pitching, major league pitching. I think that Seattle, based on their current needs, like they're playing Polanco at second base a lot, I think Seattle would be a perfect team to call for their pitching and dangle Nolan Gorman. Like,
I'm here for it.
It's not going to be, but let me stop somebody who's possibly thinking it. It's not going to be Logan Gilbert. You're not going to get Gilbert. But
why not?
Could you have gotten him last offseason?
No.
That and one more player?
If I'm Seattle, I'm asking for more than Gorman. I need one of your young pitchers too.
So why would the Cardinals not do that then?
Jamie, you're asking questions.
No, I'm just serious. Like, why?
Let me take a step back here. I don't think Seattle would do it. I think Gilbert. Like, why would I give up my ace? I'm trying to be a contender. Like, if I'm Seattle, they probably would have done it for George Kirby. And George Kirby, I don't know if Gorman as the centerpiece gets it done for somebody like Kirby, but Bryce Miller's another young pitcher. He's got a 3.63 ERA in 109 innings this year. He is 25 years old. He's a right-hander. This is somebody that you could potentially acquire. He's not an ace right now, but he would easily be your third best pitcher right now, if not second.
I just think it's time for, like, if the Cardinals are going to do something serious. I just, going back to the thought that spawned this whole discussion, is I think that Alec Burleson has made Nolan Gorman expendable.
Brandon says trading Gorman would be stupid. We're not just trading him to trade him.
No, we're not. We're getting pitching.
That would be, and you're dealing from strength. You're also assembling a team. Here's the other aspect too. Look at this team. Look at the players they have in their farm system. Look at the players that they're acquiring now in this draft. They're selecting this year in the draft. high contact, versatile players that can play multiple positions. There's a theme here over the last couple of years. Donovan, Tommy Edman, Sajasi, the other kid that they got at the deadline last year.
Prioto,
Prietti, whatever.
Cesar,
Guys that can put the ball in play, that can run a little bit, and can play multiple positions. There's a bit of an identity that's being formed here. So perhaps Gorman, who does offer something the Cardinals don't really have an abundance of, could get them something more valuable, which is that young pitching. Mm-hmm. So again, Brandon, we're not saying trade Gorman just for the idea of trading him. It's interesting. Cardinals won't do it. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. I waited 10 and a half minutes before I said it. Gauntlet next. My wife and I have been talking about potentially redoing our patio for several years now, and we recently ran into some issues with the back of the house, and there's a double door set that we're looking to upgrade too. And while it's kind of a smaller project, there is no project that's too small for Mosby Building Arts. So we have somebody coming out from Mosby on Thursday morning. I'm going to have an opportunity to chat with him. It's great. They send somebody out. You have your own personal designer, and whether you're completely redoing your master bathroom, your kitchen, your basement, or maybe you got a smaller project like we currently are looking at right now, Mosby Building Arts, they take the same approach. They'll send somebody out to make sure that they take proper measurements of whatever project you have, and they'll design the project alongside you. So you have an opportunity to say, this is what we're looking for, this is what we want to do, and they'll do it for you. And then they have their own team that comes in. They'll wait till the materials are in-house before they start your project, and they have their own guys, their own people. They have their own architects, they have their own electricians, their own plumbers. Everybody's in-house so that your project won't be delayed. So whether you're looking to do maybe an outdoor fireplace, a front porch, a front door, columns, garage doors, patio doors, screened-in porch, whatever you're looking to do, Mosby Building Arts can be there for you. And there's, again, no project is too small. They do a fantastic job, whatever it is that you want to do within your home, and they do it right. 314-909-1800. Give them a call today. You can also visit callmosby.com. Mosby Building Arts, the right remodeling company.
categories, one challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Time for the Gauntlet here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN 403. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Before we welcome in Eric, Brandon, he's in the snake pit today. He came back. The negative Nancy's on a Monday.
Oh, boy.
Well, here's the thing, Brandon. The Cardinals just made several of the best moves in the draft that you're ever going to see in possible baseball history. They're set up for a great second half, probably going to win the World Series, and continue to be one of the best organizations in all of sports, not just baseball.
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
Eric, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good, trying to stay cool today.
Yeah, man, it's hot outside. Jeez. Oh, smokes. Eric, is this your first time in the Gauntlet?
It is.
Well, welcome in. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing today. Would you like to take on Marsh, Carey, Jamie, or me?
So I've given this some thought, and given my advanced age, I think I'm going to take on Andrew, given his experience.
Okay.
All right. Interesting.
Like
now, Marsh, you haven't played in a month, right?
It's been a minute. I've only played like 2 or 3 times in the last month.
Wow. All right. I think Marsh is excited. You just made his day, Eric.
I am excited.
All right.
All right. So go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Marshy, spin that wheel.
All right, Marsh, who just spun that wheel. Get the hell out of here now. Eric, what are you hoping for?
I'm gonna hope for random. I like random trivia.
Random trivia. That's what you're hoping for. Okay.
Yeah.
Marsh is heading out right now. Jamie's got a look like he just smelled something bad. You okay?
Well, Eric, how do you feel about hockey?
I'm just glad I'm not facing you, Jamie.
Oh, all right. Well, Marshy's pretty good at hockey, too.
Can be very good at hockey,
Yeah.
All right. The wheel of death for some of you just spun hockey. So 4 questions of hockey to Eric, 4 same questions to Marsh. Each question is worth 2 points unless you guys ask for the options, and those questions become worth 1 point. Are you ready, Eric?
You bet. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Former Blue, Robbie Fabry, is on the move again. He was traded by the Red Wings to which team?
I'm going to need the options.
The Anaheim Ducks, the Ottawa Senators, or the Calgary Flames?
Yeah, Ottawa was my gut instinct, so I'm going to go with Ottawa.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Eric, question number 2. Who is currently the head coach of the Calgary Flames?
I'm going to need those options again.
Yeah, no problem. Is it Pascal Vincent, Greg Cronin, or Ryan Huska?
Well, Jamie, since you didn't know how to pronounce the first guy's name, I'm going to cross him off the list. Can I get the other 2 again?
Well, I actually pronounced it in French.
That's why I didn't understand it.
The other 2 are Greg Cronin or Ryan Huska.
I'm going to go with Ryan Huska.
Final?
Final answer, unfortunately.
Question number 3. David Perron will play for his 7th team in his NHL career this upcoming season. Name this team that he signed with this offseason.
I should have been paying more attention to the offseason transactions, apparently. I want to say Ottawa. And I'm just going to go for it because Marshy probably knows. I'm going to go for the say Ottawa. Final answer.
All right, Eric, final question. Not including the Blues. Again, not including the Blues. Name the team that David Perron played the most games for in his NHL career.
Edmonton or Pittsburgh. I'm going to say Edmonton. Final answer.
All right. Let's wave in Marsh from the Cone of Silence. Eric, how are you feeling?
Not good.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Not great.
Marsh can be tricky. He's really good with like dates and
he
plays and sports and trivia and he's great at everything.
Yeah.
All right, Marsh.
Yes.
How's the Cone of Silence? It's been a while for you.
It's been a while. It was really good. Good. It was really good. Got my water.
You're ready to go here. Your category today, Marsh, is hockey. All right.
Pack a lunch.
Okay. Here we go. Question number 1. Former Blue Robbie Fabry is on the move again. he was traded by the Red Wings to which team?
Oh, my goodness. I think I just saw this the other day, too. I believe, could be wrong, I believe it is the Anaheim Ducks. We'll go with that team. Final answer.
Robbie Fabry.
All right, Marshy, question 2. Who is currently the head coach of the Calgary Flames?
Oh, wow. I have no idea, actually. Let's use the options.
Is it Pascal Vincent, Greg Cronin, or Ryan Huska?
I've never heard of any of these guys.
Prominent figures in the hockey world.
Who was the first guy? Pascal Dupuis? Is that who you said?
Pascal Vincent.
Oh.
Pascal Vincent.
I don't know. That sounds like a cool name. We'll go with that guy.
That's okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to Calgary. Final answer.
All right, question number 3.
Matthew Tkachuk left the team.
David Perron will play for his 7th team in his NHL career this upcoming season. Name the team that he signed with this offseason.
The Ottawa Senators. Final answer.
And finally, question number 4. Not including the Blues. Name the team that David Perron played the most games for in his NHL career.
Ooh. Good question. I'm going to eliminate the Ducks. I think that was only for a short period of time. Only played with Vegas for one season. I'm between Edmonton and Detroit, so he was there for 2 seasons. Or is it Pittsburgh? I'm going to go with Detroit. Detroit, final answer.
Let's go over these. Marsh versus Eric today. Let's start with question 3. David Perron will play for his 7th team in his NHL career this upcoming season. Name the team that he signed with this offseason. Eric, you said the Ottawa Senators. Marsh, you said the Ottawa Senators. Correct answer is...
It is the Ottawa Senators.
Neither of you needed the options on that one. Nice job, guys. We have a 2-2 tie between Marsh and Eric today. Who is currently the head coach of the Calgary Flames? Eric, with the options, you said Ryan Huska. Marsh, after saying that you don't know who the hell it is and you've never heard of any of the names, you went with the first guy, Pascal Vincent. Correct answer is...
Ryan Huska.
Ryan Huska is the correct answer. So Eric takes a 1-point lead over Marsh. Former Blue Robbie Fabry's on the move again. He was traded by the Red Wings to which team? Marsh, you said the Ducks. Eric, you said Ottawa. Correct answer is...
It is your Anaheim Ducks.
That's right. Marsh did not need the options for that one. So Marsh now takes a 1-point lead. Comes down to this. Not including the Blues, name the team that David Perron played the most games for in his NHL career. Eric, without the options, you said the Edmonton Oilers. Marsh, you were between the Edmonton Oilers and the Detroit Red Wings. You said the Detroit Red Wings. If it's the Oilers, Eric wins by 1. If it's the Red Wings, Marsh wins by 3. If it's the Penguins, Marsh clings to a 1-point lead. Carey, name the team that David Perron played for most in his NHL career besides the Blues.
The Detroit Red Wings.
Eric.
No. You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
Eric, if it's any consolation to you,
oh man,
it was close. The Oilers 116 games, the Red Wings 158. Either way, I'm sorry.
Marshy.
Thank you. That was a good one.
That was a good battle.
Sweating over here. Not because it's hot in the studio.
Eric, nice job, man. Thanks for playing. Thanks for listening.
You bet. Thanks, guys.
Good job, Eric.
Yeah.
Marsh, nice job, man.
I knew Eric was in trouble. I knew he was in trouble.
When you saw hockey?
No, when he was a real nice guy.
He's a nice guy. Chose Marsh.
And then I knew, I was like, oh, Marsh is going to rip his soul out.
Yeah, you can't be a nice guy and then take
Maybe
on
that's
Marsh.
why he doesn't get picked, right?
Yeah.
So many nice guys call in.
Nice
People call in and they know.
They want to avoid the nice guy hacker.
Reaper.
Yep, exactly.
I'm knocking on the door.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right. Are the Cardinals going to rely on internal options at the trade deadline?
Probably.
We'll hear from John. No, listen, we're going to be positive forever. Okay?
That's what Brandon said we should do.
Brandon needs us to be positive in his life, so we're going to be a positive influence in his life. Maybe we'll do it in a break, and then when we come back, we'll just be us. Cardinals, internal options, next on 101 ESPN. The Missouri Athletic Club is a great spot. I should say spots throughout the summertime because the downtown location, perfect for Cardinals games. Love taking the family down to the MAC, park there, take the shuttle over to the Cardinals game, enjoy the game, then hop right back on the shuttle. Maybe I'm going with friends. Love going to the Jackpot Grill before and after the games. Perfect spot. When it comes to the summer location, though, or the West Clubhouse, I should say, during the summer, pool's open. Love getting my workout in. Love using their business center. Great spot for me and the fam. That's my MAC, the Missouri Athletic Club.
anytime you get into August, September, you always feel like you can use an extra arm or two in the bullpen. So I think any team that's trying to get to October is going to say something similar. I think for us, it's really our health. What can we expect from somebody like a Tommy Edman now that we have Newbar back, now that we have Contreras back? What ultimately we think our team is starting to come into what we believed it was capable of doing. So now it's a little bit of patience, but what do we have? 2 weeks left before the deadline. So we'll try to explore whatever we think might make us better and see if there's something out there that might help.
That's President of Baseball Operations, John Mozeliak, basically telling you, we're going to get, we need a reliever. We're going to be interested in relievers. So is everybody else. So we'll see if we'll get one. That's kind of how I heard it. What about you guys?
Well, I heard him say we got Newbar back. We got Tommy Edman coming back. And that's essally like making a trade.
No, I didn't hear that at all.
That's what I heard. Didn't you hear that, Jamie?
I actually heard it was better.
There you go.
That's what I heard.
You get those guys back healthy. Wilson Contreras is back healthy. Newt is back healthy. Tommy is on his way. You got 3 starters.
Get the whole band back together, baby.
That's like making a trade. And you didn't have to give up anything.
You know what? If the Cardinals don't do anything, I don't want to hear either of you complaining then.
Why?
Because you just made your trade.
You
just made your trade with Wilson Contreras.
He pointed
I'll put my finger wherever I want it.
No, you're not going to finger me or Carey.
No, I will.
Okay? Just keep that to yourself.
From 2 to 6, I will. Okay?
Yeah.
That's your problem.
On camera.
That's what happened.
Join us, Snake Pit, always ready to go. YouTube channel, Airlines team at 101 ESPN STL. Mo talking with Jim Hayes, Bally Sports Midwest. Also talked about the philosophy of getting a starting pitcher at the deadline. And, well, you know what? Go ahead, Mo.
I think that's really hard to do right now. I think everybody is looking for starting pitching. I think Palante's done a yeoman's job for us and very impressive. So, I don't think that's something that we're going to go and make an irrational decision for, but if there's something that makes sense, we'll certainly consider it.
Consider it.
What would be something that so how I hear that is, we're fine. Mm-hmm. We like what we got. If something falls in our laps and I can't turn it down, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. Other than that, if I have to go above my point that I feel comfortable for a starting pitcher, I'm not going to do it. And so what you get is what you got, and that's it. Don't ask. Like when you were a kid, I would go to places, and when I walked in the store, I'm like, "Hey, Mom, can I?" No, don't ask. Like before I could even get the word. That's Mo. Mo is a parent, and we are the children. Mm-hmm. And Mo is telling us no.
We are the children.
We are the world. Yeah. No, you can't have it. Now, if it's on sale, if it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg, I might consider it, depending on how you act, Anthony. But the answer is no.
Yeah, it's still a no.
There you go.
Yeah.
And Carey's right. Basically, Mo is going to wait for someone to just give him a pitcher for like nothing. Here's a number 3 or a number 4 for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And Mo will be like, well, we felt like it was a good play for us to pick up this pitcher.
Right.
It cost you nothing.
In fairness, he did. I mean, look, he landed Quintana and he landed Jordan Montgomery at the deadline a couple years ago.
Good job.
He did.
Nobody wanted those guys, though.
Yeah, he traded an injured player, too.
Did anybody want those guys? Was there a market for those 2 guys? Was there competition?
You know what? I think that I think the Jordan Montgomery deal kind of look. He deserves credit for making it. Yeah. Here's what I think happened with Jordan Montgomery. The Yankees liked him. They didn't love him. They also thought that they were going to land another starter at the deadline. I can't remember which starter they picked up that year. Was that the Frankie Montas year?
Yes.
Okay, so they picked up Frankie Montas. They thought they were going to get another pitcher, either from the Giants or the Marlins.
Well, they had a trade done, apparently. Remember? I forget who it was.
I think it was the Giants.
And
I can't remember what pitcher, though.
The trade blew up at the last minute.
Yes. Yeah. So that is why Brian Cashman, the president of the Yankees, was so willing to make the deal for Montgomery and get Bader. Even though Bader was hurt, he was willing to make that deal because he thought he had another deal in place. He was going to get another starter. So that one kind of came about at the last second. As far as Quintana was having a pretty good year for the Pirates that year. Was he in high demand? No. He wasn't in high demand in the offseason that year either. So to Carey, you asked that question. No, I don't think so. But he did make the move. He did make those moves. I don't think Mo is going to stand pat at the deadline. In fairness to him, he's never done it. He's never just said, you know what, I'm not going to do anything. Last year became evident that they needed to sell, and he sold. And he got young pitching in return. So I think he did well last year. 2 years ago, again, he brought in Quintana, who wound up starting game 1 for you in the postseason, and he brought in Montgomery, who, you know, we all liked and wanted to resign. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's going to stand pat. Will he blow anybody away with his deadline moves? No. But I also don't think he acquires nobody. If at the very least he gets some bullpen help, and I don't think it'll be a middle reliever. I think he'd get a high leverage bullpen option. I think that's the bare minimum Mo does this at the deadline. Just my opinion.
I lost it. I had a text from the 314. Says, what is he supposed to say? Or 618, sorry. If he said we were going to trade for a starter and doesn't get one, that doesn't look good. So he's going to say nothing. And I can agree with that to a degree, because if you go out and say, yeah, we need a number 2 starter, what are you saying to the entire starting rotation?
Right. Yeah.
What are you saying to them? You're telling them you're not good enough. One of you all will not be playing here shortly in a couple of weeks. So I think there is a kind of some gamesmanship where he can't go out and say, yeah, this is what we're looking for. You don't want other teams to know. I mean, if they're watching, which I'm sure they are, they know the Cardinals need some pitching help. But you don't want to necessarily go out and say it. So I do agree with that point. Like maybe it's a little bit of gamesmanship and not really saying what is needed for this team.
Yeah,
we all know.
He's going to be careful.
Yeah.
Here is Mo on if he'll be aggressive at the deadline.
I think it's going to be a very difficult market for anybody to be aggressive. There's so many teams competing for such few resources out there. And so I think this trading deadline might not live up to normal excitement, but we'll see. A lot of time, I will say most general managers are not overly focused on it right now. We have the draft beginning tomorrow, and I think for the next 3 days, maybe take one day during the All-Star break, catch our breath, and then I think you'll see more activity on the trading market.
Like I said, I don't think he's going to shock anybody. I think he's going to make the prudent moves. I think he's going to get reliever help. And that's going to be the deadline this year for the Cardinals. That's my prediction.
Oh. Not exciting.
Wonder how our listeners feel about that.
It was a mic drop.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what our listeners, Cardinals fans, think about what John Mozeliak has described to be that is pretty much going to be a very vanilla, boring trade deadline for the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. I wonder how our fan base feels about that. Leave us a mic drop. Get on the app, click on the little microphone, leave us a mic drop. Marcia will get those. We'll sift through them. We'll get to that at some point later on in the show here. But I can't imagine that's going to sit very well.
Or maybe Cardinals fans
They've just accepted it now?
Well, not accepted that it... Yes, accepted that they're not... Well, hold on. They've accepted that they're not going to do anything that's going to be eye-popping. Based on track record, based on history. But they will do something. They will make incremental improvements.
Something, when you say that, it's like the lawyer that says, well, I told you we're going to do something. It's lawyer speak.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't tell you we were going to go get anybody good or do anything substantial. I told you there'd be moves, and we made moves, didn't we?
I told you payroll would go up. It went up.
Well, that was
what
also
do you want from me?
The shell game. He was shuffling things around. Wayno's deferred money was being used when it shouldn't. And, well, it went up.
Did payroll go up or not?
It really didn't.
Mr. Rivers.
The number just looked...
Remember, you're under oath.
Exactly. It didn't really go up.
It did.
It did. Not percentage-wise.
Either way. Sports Six-Pack is next. If you have a Sports Six-Pack question for us, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646. And again, if you want to participate, leave us a mic drop. What do you think about Mo's comments? You know, we're getting a lot of, hey, you guys are being too negative. All right, cool, leave us a mic drop. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think. If we're being too negative. We're not being optimistic enough. Cool. Leave us a mic drop. Tell us that. And tell us why we should be more optimistic. All right, it's the Fast Lane, Sports Six-Pack next.
The event of the summer is happening this weekend over at Diamonds Direct. Is their annual summer sale where you get 20% off of virtually everything in the showroom. So if you're planning a wedding, this would be a good time to get into Diamonds Direct, or whatever the occasion. Maybe it's a milestone anniversary. She's got a birthday. You just want to be nice, or ladies, you want to spoil yourself. Diamonds Direct is the place to be this weekend, July 19th through 21st. All bridal and fashion favorites over at Diamonds Direct are on sale. Again, it's an additional 20% off of their already crazy low prices over at Diamonds Direct. And all your favorite bridal styles are going to be there, right? Plus, earrings, bracelets, all the necklaces, stackable bands, colored gemstone jewelry, and much, much more. And that's not all. When you make an appointment to shop, you can also get $100 off your purchase. Go check them out. Go to diamondsdirect.com. Get in there this weekend, July 19th through 21st, an incredible 20% off. Go to diamondsdirect.com at Olive 270 at City Place. It's Diamonds Direct.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals split with the Chicago Cubs over the weekend after an 8-3 loss yesterday. They are 50-46 heading into the All-Star break, 4.5 games back of Milwaukee for first place in the National League Central. They do sit in that second wild card spot, however, heading into the All-Star break. And speaking of which, we have the Home Run Derby tonight. You can listen to it on 101 ESPN with the coverage starting at 7 o'clock. Also, City SC lost to Vancouver. We talked with Kyle Hiebert earlier today, defender for your St. Louis City squad. If you missed that interview, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com, or you can use the 101 mobile app to find all of our interviews and full shows, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have our Sports Six-Pack coming up, so ask us a question, any question. It could be about JJ Wetherholt, the number 7 pick for the Cardinals at the MLB Draft. It could be anything. It could be about hot dogs. Who knows? We'll talk about it next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Time for the Sports Six-Pack here on the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line, or the Air Alliance Team YouTube channel at 101 ESPN SCL. We call it that, the snake pit. You can always leave us a question there, too. And Carey always does this. Represent the snakes. Absolutely. Marsh, what do you got for us?
Question number 1.
From the 314, most people I hear talking about the Cardinals say they're not good enough to do anything in October anyway. I don't really see a move out there that they could make that's going to make them good enough to be a World Series contender anyway. So why would anybody want them to go big at the trade deadline, especially if they don't actually think it's going to make any difference?
I think that's a great text. I think there is some hypocrisy to what we do here, because we on one side will say, just like this texter's pointing out, well, we don't think they're good enough to compete for a World Series berth. Now, to Carey, in Carey's defense, he will say, hey, go out and get Garrett Crochet and Luis Robert.
There you go.
Although Carey also says just trade him for nothing.
No.
Trade for him for nothing.
That's not what I said.
No, he said figure it out.
Well, we talked about it. We were going to.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
we're going to do the back and forth. Yeah, maybe we'll still do that
tomorrow.
Carey has said be aggressive as in every opportunity, in any opportunity you can get. But for me, I'll just speak for myself. Like, yeah, there are times where I'm like, I know this team isn't good enough, but I would still like to see them improve at the deadline. Well, what moves can you make that are reasonable? Only incremental ones. So I see where the texture is coming. There is some hypocrisy here. I still think ultimately, though, if you start to become more aggressive in adding to your roster, not making stupid, wild additions, but some sort of improvement to your roster that, of players that are cost controlled, eventually you'll get to the point where you can be ultra aggressive and put yourself in a spot to really contend. But I understand the question.
Yeah, and I also feel this, though, too, is if the Cardinals make the right move, and they can, as from day one, I've said, get a pitcher that is still under team control for a couple of years. If they do that, now at least you're taking steps in the right direction. Like just the one-offs year after year after year, all that means is that every year you're going to be in the same spot looking for that gap filler at the deadline.
Yeah.
Go trade for something that is on your roster for more than just a half a season or since the trade deadline. Maybe get another year or two out of that player. And now you can start to build. Your young guys get a little more mature. Maybe Jordan Walker finds his groove. So for next year, now you've got Sonny Gray and pitcher X. And then you've got, I think, Miles Mikolas unrestricted, I think, after this year. So you'd have maybe Kyle Gibson sticks around because you pick up his option. Graceffo, maybe he's in there. Like, now you're starting to head in the right direction. But if you don't make a trade, then you can't advance your team. You're just basically stuck in the mud.
Right.
It's just about what you're willing to give up.
Yeah.
Like if you are willing to get a few players that are under control for the next 3 years and have to give up some really good prospects or some really good players that you hope or think that may be part of your future, in order to have a successful trade, you're going to have to give up something. And I think at times, fans want to just get the best player available but not lose anything in return. That's not realistic. So, it's about making that decision for the Cardinals. Where do they see themselves? If player X in your minor leagues is not able to help you right now, but there are players that are, and you feel like this is a team that could make a push for a playoff or make a push for a World Series, then you should do what's in the best interest of the team.
Question number 2.
From the 636, what is a reasonable expectation for the second half, given that the Cards have the 4th toughest schedule and had the 24th toughest in the first half and are barely over 500?
For me, it's make the playoffs either as a wild card or obviously winning the division. I don't think the division is out of reach. It's 4.5 games. The Cardinals have played well enough since Mother's Day to win this division. I don't think Milwaukee's pitching is that great for them to be like, man, it's a slam dunk. This thing's over. So I think it's reasonable for them to catch Milwaukee in the second half. At the very least, you earn a wild card spot. They completely fall out of it, even with a tough schedule. I don't think that's acceptable.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, you're not good enough to be the Phillies, but you're certainly not bad enough to miss the playoffs.
You shouldn't be.
Right.
Although the National League is wacky right now. You got all those teams that are still within range of a playoff spot. But no, I think that, look, I don't think you're going to, here's the thing is, I don't believe you're going to have a repeat of what April was for you. So if that's the case, then you'll stay pretty much about where you are right now, which should earn you a playoff spot. Mm-hmm. It might even get you the division, depending on, obviously, the Brewers' success or lack thereof. So I'm with you. I think they're a playoff team.
I think they're fine. I think they are. If all things, you're playing well enough, but so are the other teams. Everyone is playing pretty much the same on the National League side. Like, as you said, all of the teams are essentially within 5 games of being in the wild card, minus the Rockies and the Marlins. Those are the 2 teams that you don't have to worry about. But everyone else, a 10-game stretch, bad for you, good for another team, you are no longer in the wild card. Had the Cardinals lost another game against the Chicago Cubs, they're probably not right there. They're probably 4th in the wild card standings as opposed to 2. So it's, for me, that's the scary part, is you are 4.5 games out of the division lead, but you're also, 1.5 games of not being in the wild card. You're going to have to continue to play. I think you have to play better than these last. Obviously, we can go off of the last 6 games. They went 2-4. That wasn't a great stretch for them. Not a great homestand, but going forward into the second half of the season or the second part of the season, they got to be more consistent, better in all aspects of it.
Question number 3.
This one comes from Grant Francis Fan Club. What is the story behind why you have the running joke with yelling, Nolan Arenado, his name in the lineup?
Should I set the stage?
Yeah.
I need to know this. I don't know.
Okay, so.
Oh, really? You don't know the story?
We showed up one day, and BT had a little notepad, and he had written down like how he wanted this segment, this bit, to go. And so BT and Meat at the time were very good at coming up these little bits, and they would go over it and not rehearse it, but talk about it.
Yeah,
do their thing.
Kind of, yeah. It wasn't a complete rehearsal.
No, it was just an idea,
a setup
and
almost.
then
Yeah,
we'll have this and we'll do this and. Well, Anthony and I don't really roll that way. Not because we're against it. We just don't roll that way. We're off the cuff, like right away. Whatever just pops in. Mm-hmm. So Anthony was probably half paying attention to what BT was saying, and BT ran off some numbers, and he said, "Whose numbers are those, Anthony?" And Anthony was not supposed to say Nolan Arenado. He was supposed to say pretty much anybody except Nolan Arenado. And Anthony goes, Nolan Arenado. And BT's face, it dropped. And he looked, and he was like, Are you serious?
He was so pissed.
He was so mad.
He was so pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, no, I told you not to say Nolan Arenado.
He goes, are you kidding me, dude? Are you kidding me? He
really?
even walked toward the door for a second and then came back to the microphone.
He was so hot under the collar. Anthony goes, I thought you wanted me. He goes, no, I didn't want you to say Nolan Arenado. So now every time we say Nolan Arenado, we do it like Anthony did. When he was passionate about his answer, he yelled it out there.
I thought that's what he wanted me to say. Nolan Arenado. So that's how. Yeah, that's why we do it that way.
I wish we would have had YouTube back then.
Yeah,
being able to go back and look at BT's face.
BT was ticked off. He was ticked off, and then we got into the break, and he even kind of looked at me again. He's like, "Really, dude?" I go, "Hey, this is why we don't set anything up." He goes, "You didn't remember that?" I go, "I remember Nolan Arenado."
And I was like, "You shouldn't have told him that."
Yeah, right. Yeah, that whole thing was. You're right. You should have seen BT. He's like, "All right, so I'm going to give you the numbers." He read off the numbers. He's like, "So that's Nolan Arenado. That's Arenado, but I want you to say somebody different. So then that way I can go in and, well, that's Nolan Arenado." So all I kept hearing was Nolan Arenado. So eventually we got, and it wasn't before. It was before the show. It wasn't like right before the segment started. It was before the show. So we're talking like 2 hours, 3 hours go by. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, you know. I got other stuff going on, driving the show and whatnot. But yeah,
Anthony, you were looking at the long-term play.
I certainly was. Yeah,
worked out well.
Ruined his entire bit.
Hey, but you know what? It's the gift that keeps giving.
That's right, exactly. So, yeah, that is why we do Nolan Arenado. Yeah. All right, it's Fast Line on 101 ESPN. We'll continue our Sports Six-Pack next.
Fellas, are you currently using ED meds? You're probably paying too much for those ED meds. Get over to the Medicine Shop in St. Charles. They are your destination for cheap ED meds. Medicine Shop has a generic called sildenafil for less than $2 a pill, prescription required, of course. And if you have any other medications that you need on a regular basis, the Medicine Shop has an amazing program where they offer free, discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace. I use this service all the time. It's fantastic, whether you have a busy schedule, kids with busy schedules, if you travel a lot and you can't get to the pharmacy, then the Medicine Shop brings the pharmacy to you. I absolutely love it. I also love stopping by the Medicine Shop to say hi to everybody over there. Such an amazing staff, so friendly, very helpful. helpful. Any questions that you have, they're going to answer them for you. And if you don't necessarily know what's going on sometimes, like with my allergies, they were awful. Went in there, talked to a couple of representatives, and gave me a couple of ideas. And my allergies, I've maintained it much better thanks to the medicine shop in St. Charles. So please stop by, say hi to the staff. But if you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit their new website, stcharles.medicineshop.com. That's stcharles.medicineshop.com.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
Let's continue our Sports Six-Pack here in the Fast Lane on 101 at ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Here is Andrew Marsh.
Question number 4.
From the 636, when was the last time or the last season that you thought the Cardinals had a chance to contend? You actually thought they were a contender?
Contender to win the World Series.
I'll even say like to win the National League, like a pennant contender.
Well, they got to the CS. I don't know if
2019?
Yeah.
Did you think that going in?
No, I didn't. I certainly did not. So, yeah, I have to say that.
I mean, maybe 2021 after they acquired Arenado. I mean, you think about it, Goldschmidt and Arenado. I can't remember, though, to be completely honest.
Maybe the hopes were high.
I would think they would have been at that point.
I think 2021, the beginning of the season was, oh, wow, okay, this team, because they were a playoff team the year before during the COVID year.
Right.
But you really thought, okay, they're getting Nolan Arenado. And this team can really win. And then they struggled, but then they went on the 17-game heater.
Yeah.
And that's when you really start thinking, wow, I've seen this happen before.
Sure.
Where they find a little Cardinal devil magic and make their way into the postseason and go on a run.
Yeah.
And it felt like that could have been the year, and then they lost in the wild card game.
I think I would have been pretty high on them in 21, looking at the projected starting roster for them. Dylan Carlson would have been coming off of the COVID year in which he batted cleanup for him against the Dodgers in the wild card game. I would have been. I know I would have been high on him. Looking at the pitching staff, it was Wainwright, Flaherty. Although Flaherty had not accomplished yet. Oh no, I guess he did in 19.
Yeah.
So we would have questions about the injuries, but we still. I would imagine we would have been optimistic and hopeful for him. I think it was probably 21. The landscape in baseball has also changed too. Like some people think that our comments and us being negative it's just only Cardinal related. You have to understand the grand scope of things. Baseball has changed. The Phillies and the Dodgers have become like the two dominant. Let's acquire everybody. You're looking at these rosters in the offseason. You're like, how can my team actually contend here? You know. So I think if things were more balanced throughout baseball from a roster standpoint, I don't know if I think my mood would shift here a little bit. But
what year did we get Quintana and Montgomery? Is that 22?
22.
Okay, so because we get a text from 314 says 2022 they were a contender. Albert was crushing it, and Nolan and Goldie finished top 3.
Yeah, but I'm almost viewing this question as the start of the season.
The start of the season,
like a preseason prediction.
Yeah,
but that's your interpretation of the question.
Correct.
Yeah. So if we don't go by that, then 2022 when Albert was raking down the stretch, you had Goldie and Arenado that were top 3 in MVP voting.
Mm-hmm.
You had Montgomery, Quintana. Like, you had a pretty good pitching staff.
Yeah.
You'd have to think that the problem is that they really weren't a contender even with that. Like, they were good.
Mm-hmm.
But at no point did I think this is a World Series contender.
Yeah.
Would you say 2015 and 14 they went to the NLCS? 15 they won 100 games.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
absolutely.
If
you were,
yes.
We could make it to the
track
NLCS.
record was there.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
like, this team is.
You're not that far removed from 11.
Yeah.
Even though they had watched Albert Pujols leave in free agency, they had Holiday, and they had Matt Carpenter.
Like,
Matt Carpenter was phenomenal.
It's probably
during that stretch.
Probably the last time.
Yeah,
for me. Like,
I remember even when they lost to the Cubs in the playoffs. Going into the playoffs, I'm like, 16? Man, they still got a shot. Like, I was still, that was 16.
16, yeah.
Or 15.
No, that was 15.
15.
They missed the playoffs in 16.
15, so 15, that whole, like, I think things started to change for me when the offense became so depleted, unfortunately, with the tragic passing of Oscar Taveras, as well as, you're looking at, like, the farm system was barren for hitters. I just couldn't see where they were going to add a bona fide middle-of-the-order bat. Now, they eventually did in Goldschmidt and Arenado, but I think things started to feel a little like, oh, you've kind of lost your way here a little bit, and the pitching just never felt right in, like, 18, 19.
Get a text from the 314. The fact that you have to think about it is the point.
Okay, fair. Thank you. True.
Question number 5.
From the 314, how close were the Rams 1999-2000 teams to being a dynasty?
Ooh. Oh, my God. Very close. Absolutely. I only say this based on from the people I've spoke to that were close to that organization. Okay. This is not my opinion. I'm relaying what I know from trusted people that were either playing in those days or covered that team, those teams. If it weren't for everybody worrying about the credit, them getting the credit for that team, they probably would have lasted a lot longer. Like, they would have built a dynasty.
It ended in I was gonna say 04.
I think your Falcon team.
Yeah, we might have ended it. But 99, you lose to the Saints, I believe, in 2000. Go back to they lost to the Saints in New Orleans. Didn't they lose? Wasn't it New Orleans?
Yeah.
And then go back to the Super Bowl the following year. Let's see. Because that was the game. Or am I mistaken?
It was the 2000 Super Bowl, so 01.
2000 season. They lost to the Saints in the playoffs.
Okay.
Because I remember they put Marshall back on kickoff, like the last kickoff, trying to spark something.
Sure.
And then they go back to the Super Bowl the following year, lose to the Patriots.
And then the following year was the Panthers. That was the Steve Smith game.
Yep.
Steve Smith caught the pass and went to the house, wasn't it?
That was 03. That was 2.
That was 03. Yeah. So what did they do in 02?
02, they didn't make the playoffs. I don't think.
Okay.
But that was 02. They went 7-9.
See, to me, I remember, and look, I'm a Falcon fan. Just take that away. But I remember distinctly watching the pregame shows of the before you guys, and Carey played for the Falcons that year. The Rams had just come off the win against the Seahawks, and there's a lot of analysts that felt, hey, this is still the greatest show on turf. Right. It's Mike Martz, and a lot of people were predicting the Rams to go into Atlanta and beat you guys. Yeah. And it went back and forth for a second. It was 14-14. Like, I think Kevin Curtis caught a drag route and went to the house.
I remember that.
So I remember as a fan, I'm like, oh no, this is going to be a shootout on. And then Warwick Dunn and TJ Duckett and Alan Rossum, like you guys just took over. And it wound up being a bloodbath. And I don't think the Rams were ever the same.
They didn't go to the playoffs again.
There you go.
And Martz got fired the following year.
Okay.
And they didn't. Yeah, they were no longer in the playoffs.
But you win. I mean, I think you got to win 3 in about a 5-year window to be a dynasty.
Chance, though.
They absolutely had a chance. Yeah.
Lost 1. And again, I think if they beat that New Orleans team in 2000 in New Orleans, I think that they find a way to come around and make a run in the playoffs.
Sounds like Carey's team ruined the Rams.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I heard.
Yep.
You might be right, actually. They never made it to the playoffs again here in St. Louis.
I think that was it. And you were there for that, Carey.
Yeah.
You were on the sideline.
Yeah.
47-17, by the way.
We beat the hell
That's
out of them.
close.
That was not.
It wasn't even that close.
No.
I got a game ball for that game.
Did you?
Special teams.
Special teams?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep.
You guys had a monstrous. Didn't Rossum have a punt returner or a kick
Punt
return?
returner, kick return. Had a couple of big returns.
Hell, might have both in that. Go ahead.
Final ball ever seen in the playoffs for the
St.
Louis
Rams.
Rams.
Absolutely.
And Carey has it in his basement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't, do you? You don't know where that ball is.
I do. It's somewhere in the house.
Oh, Carey.
Yeah. I'll find it. Take a picture and send it to you guys.
See how much it means to him.
Question number 6.
All right, real quick here.
Sorry.
I teased it.
Can I real quick?
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at this box score.
What happened?
You guys rushed 40 times for 327 yards.
Oh, my. Ran the air out of the ball.
Dunn had 142. Vic had 119. Duckett had 66. 327 rushing yards.
Ran the ball right at him.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
I teased earlier if you want to send any type of question. It could have been about hot dogs. Well, we did get a hot dog question from Marsh's Burner. You guys, chicken, pork, or beef hot dog guys? I'll go beef, but honestly, they don't taste that much different, which is a little weird. What do you guys have?
I actually agree with the texter. I've tried them all. I don't think there's much of a difference in taste.
All beef.
Yeah, I'm going beef as well.
Give me the beef.
Oh, okay, fair
What
enough.
he said, maybe not.
A couple of beef
exactly
snobs
what
here.
he
They're not being truthful, Marsh.
I'm being 100%
I mean, they can put everything in the hot dog.
Yes, they can.
Yeah.
It's part of a hot dog.
Which is kind of scary.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in that hot dog, to be honest.
Gas station hot dogs are actually elite.
Man, gas station corn dogs are really good, too.
Did you guys ever have like the whatchamacallits on the rollers?
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. The what are they? Little pigs in a blanket.
They've got those. They've got the
skewers,
torpedoes or whatever, tornadoes.
Oh, yeah.
Especially 2 or 3 in the morning.
Taquitos. Yeah.
2 or 3 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those go in good. They don't come out the same.
Don't worry about
I have been known.
Spicy chicken tornado.
Yes, I've been known when I'm starving. If I'm in a gas station, I'm like, I should get something healthy. I go right to that rack.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. No, not at all, actually.
They torpedo right out of your. Never mind.
They
All
sure
right,
do.
We've got your mic drops and the Cardinals. Your reactions to John Mozeliak next on 101 ESPN.
Anthony, it happens inevitably to any man, really. You get to a point in life where your testosterone starts to dip, and it's not good.
No.
Makes you feel tired, irritable. I mean, just lots of, they just don't feel like yourself, and you can't figure out why. But there is a way to fix it.
It's Mentality.
Yeah, visit our friends at Mentality. 2 locations, South County, Chesterfield. And the process is simple, and the results are fantastic.
Yeah, when you say the process is simple, it is. You know, a lot of times, it's simple. Okay, well, I got to jump through all these hoops. And no, you go down, you sit with one of their outstanding people at Mentality, certified experts. They've got nurses, they've got clinicians. They do a fantastic job. Hey, how you feeling? Well, here's something. If you're honest, a lot of times, one, they make you feel good and say, hey, listen, this is why you're here. This is what we do at Mentality. Then you go on the program. I don't know how it was for you, Jamie, but after, weeks, I started to feel better. And then things started to line up.
Yeah, they did. And I actually got on the peptide train as well, and for all of my old injuries, and it's been unbelievable. So not only am I maximizing workouts now because my testosterone levels are back up to where they should be, I'm also maximizing because the peptides are helping with all those old injuries, and I'm feeling a lot better.
It works.
And one of the best things about it too is that it's covered by most insurance companies. So fellas, don't wait another minute. Get out there, go see either location, go see our friends, tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. You will thank us for it later. And if you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit Mentality at lowtusa.com.
Here's how it sits with me, boys. It's a Monday. Got a flat tire early this morning. Made it to work. Now I'm sitting at Dobbs, waiting to get a new tire on this wheel. I'm sitting in my car listening to you guys, and all I hear is excuses from Mo. Excuses, Monday morning excuses on why he can't do it. Unbelievable.
All right, that was Tony. Left us a mic drop. Sorry about your tire, Tony.
Yeah, but you are at the right spot.
Absolutely. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Also our sponsor for the podcast. Available at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app. So the reason why we're asking for mic drops is we played some of the audio from John Mozeliak as he sat down with Jim Hayes from Bally Sports Midwest, and he talked about certain things about the trade deadline. And just to kind of recap, Mo said, yeah, they'll consider adding a starter, but it's also going to be to paraphrase, it's going to be a seller's market. There's going to be a lot of teams interested in starters. So, we'll see what we can do. We'll consider it. Bullpen help. Well, everybody's going to be in on bullpen help. So, another thing we'll be interested in. That was kind of what Mo was saying. So Tony said, yep, kind of used excuses. What did Lisa have to say?
Oh, boy.
Good afternoon. Hi.
Hi, Lisa.
Oh, hi.
Well, that was quick.
Hey, guys. Happy Monday, everyone. Mo's going to do what Mo has done basically for the last decade. Stay safe, cross your fingers, hope for the best. And that's why we middle somewhere around 500. No risk taken, all risk averted, and this is where you land. So we'll get a reliever or two because our starters can only go, 5 innings at most, so you're going to have some relief help. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to stay somewhere right around the middle. That's what he's going to do. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good afternoon. Bye.
Thank you, Lisa. This is where I'm conflicted because, one, I do agree with Lisa. Now, she says it in a tone that is, she's disgusted by it, and I understand it. I understand where she's coming from. She wants to see the Cardinals be aggressive, make moves that are going to excite the fan base, and it's going to lead you to want to believe in the second half. The second half could be the Cardinals, right? Like this could be a team that, even though the Phillies are stock, they've got talent that's stockpiled, and the Dodgers are loaded as always and all that, this is still a team that could get in and make some noise. That's where Lisa's coming from. But we did get a text earlier that said, well, if you guys think that the Cardinals aren't anywhere in that realm in the National League, I'm talking about the Phillies and Dodgers realm, then what moves can they make that's going to be inspiring? There are none. Unless it's Garrett Crochet, I don't think that there's a sexy move, quote unquote. Look, Rooker would be exciting. Like adding Rooker, a bona fide middle of the order bat, would be exciting. I don't think they'll do it. But can they still make smaller moves to improve themselves? Yes. Will that still leave me feeling like Lisa just described? Also, yes. So that's where I'm kind of conflicted on this. Like, I can see them having a nice trade deadline. Would that mean that I believe that they can make a deep run? No. Your thoughts?
Go ahead, Jamie. Did you have anything? I just, and I think that's the frustrating part. Like, what is the expectation? Like, I think Cardinal fans we're almost numb to the fact that this is the expectation. Like, he's going to just be a middle reliever. It's not sexy. It's not, it's your grocery store list. Like what you say, it's the things that you need, not the things that you want.
Right.
And that's frustrating. Will it help your team? Yeah. It'll help you win a few games, more games. Will that essentially help you win a World Series? Probably not. Mm-hmm. Because how I understand sports, you got to have dudes. You got to have guys to win championships. And the Cardinals do have a few of those guys. Like, they got a few of them, but they have to perform at that level. And so I feel frustrated at times because I think we all want more, but we all know that it's not going to be the more that we desire. It's just frustrating.
Yeah.
I would love to see Mo acquire Quintana and Montgomery.
Again? You want to run back 2022?
I mean, those types. Like,
sure.
We looked back at that trade deadline and thought, it was okay.
Yeah.
Everybody had their doubts about Quintana. You really liked Montgomery, but I was on the fence because, why are the Yankees getting rid of this guy?
Right, right. Which was fair.
And then, but now, can you imagine right now if you could add a Quintana and a Montgomery?
It would be great. Yeah.
I think that changes a lot of things.
Sure.
But you're not going to.
You don't care. No. Carey, you talk about it like expectations, right? Like, what are expectations? If I can reset things and say, okay, what are the expectations? And I'm going to tick some people off by saying this, but hang with me. Win the damn division. And I don't mean win the division and then, we'll see what happens. No, you're still going to be well behind the Phillies and Dodgers and Braves for that matter. And the Braves started off like a bat out of hell, had some injuries, and they kind of limped into the All-Star break. Like, the Braves have not been the juggernaut that I thought they were going to be, again, mostly because of the injuries. But the offense is still chock full. So You're not the Phillies. You're not the Dodgers. You're not the Braves. You're not going to be. Even if you were to acquire Garrett Crochet, you're not those teams. Mm-hmm. Have you seen those teams play? Like they're loaded. However, if I'm going to look at the landscape in the National League, knowing the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Braves are still the class of it, then what are reasonable expectations? You better win the division. You better win the division. I've said this. The Pirates don't try. They've got Paul Skeens, who's a stud, who should be a stud because they draft in the top 5 seemingly every year. The Cincinnati Reds, their offense is really good, but their pitching is lackluster. And the Cubs have fallen by the wayside. So you have to chase down the Brewers. Freddie Peralta has had a more up and down first half than than we have been accustomed to and what we expected. Then the rest of the rotation is Andrew Marsh, Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, and me. That's the rest of the Brewers rotation. Win the damn division, Cardinals. That should be the expectation at the bare minimum. I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite and say, well, you should win the World Series. Yeah, that should be your goal. But the Phillies and Dodgers and Braves are so far ahead of you. Yeah. Let's not have that. Let's stop having that conversation.
Do you not like your team to compete with those teams?
How are you going to
do that?
How are you going to be?
To Anthony's point, you're nowhere near them. You're nowhere near them.
Shohei Ohtani's not coming here.
No.
When he becomes a free agent. Trey Turner is not coming here when he's a free agent. Bryce Harper is not coming here when he's a free agent. He's not. So where I look at this now is, okay, let me reset my expectations. My expectations are you play in a horse bleep division. You better win that thing. No, that's where I say no excuses, Cardinals. You play in a horse crap division. Milwaukee is a small market team. Chicago is a big market team that can't figure it out consistently. Pittsburgh should be a bigger market. They're not. Cincinnati, the owner flat out said, hey, we're going to stink and you're going to like it. Like, this is a horse bleep division. You better win it. That is where my expectations are. Would I love to sit here every single day and say, yeah, you better win the World Series? Baseball, without a cap, I can't sit here and say that with a straight face, watching what the Phillies and Dodgers do.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at.
It's tough. I don't even know how you get back to that spot.
I don't either.
I don't.
That's the frustration. Like, that's the part that is frustrating for Cardinal fans. I was looking at a picture of, I don't know where it went, but somebody texted in a picture of All-Stars. It was like 4 or 5 guys in the Cardinal uniform. Like, I get it. Other players.
What? Oh, other players. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. We want to have a team that has multiple All-Stars, that has the ability to be one of the better teams in the National League, in Major League Baseball. That, to me, is the part where it is extremely frustrating because are they trying? Yes. Are they really though?
Yeah.
Maybe not. It doesn't. At
I think
times
they're trying within the
parameters
with
that
their
they're willing to
framework.
work with. Right.
Yes.
And that's not Cardinal. That's not the tradition that I think most Cardinal fans are accustomed to. Like, and yes, baseball has changed over the last 20, 30 years. I get it. Finances, money. The contracts are enormous. The Cardinals are not willing to swim in those waters. I get it. But that means you have to be damn good at developing talent. And that means you have to sign that talent early so that they can't leave, so that they are here in a uniform for multiple years, and you get to watch those players be all-stars, be future Hall of Famers. That, in my opinion, is what has changed for this organization.
And they have to think outside the box.
Correct.
Milwaukee does. The Cardinals don't. The Cardinals, we laugh, they're predictable. They are. They can think outside the box more. All right, more of your mic drops next on the Cardinals here on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. I love that they allow you to stack discounts and savings all at the same time. What I mean by that is they've got their hail sale that had been extended throughout the month of July, and they still have hail sale vehicles there, and they have already discounted those vehicles. So you look at some of the vehicles that they have there, cars, trucks, SUVs, and they've got all of the discounted prices. You're already saving thousands if you're looking at a hail sale vehicle, right? Well, they also still have different specials and incentives that are going on as normal at Auto Centers Nissan. So they allow you to stack those discounts and save thousands all at the same time. So you get the discounts when it comes to the hail sale vehicles, as well as whatever incentives and specials they have going on for their other cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. I love working with Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. They give you a 30-day new car return promise. Within 30 days, if you need to bring the vehicle back, they will refund your money if you're not completely satisfied with the car. Complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and eligible used vehicles. Complimentary 1-year maintenance on new Nissan purchases. 700 vehicles all in one location. You will find your next new vehicle at Auto Center. So check them out online, autocentersnissan.com. When you head out to Herculaneum, tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
Alright guys, it must be negative Monday because all you've been is negative. Andrew, Marsh, Jamie, Anthony, Carey, all y'all have been so negative today. We don't know what's going to happen in October. We don't know who we're going to trade for. So why are you sitting here acting like you know what they're going to do when you don't know what they're going to do? Wait until it plays out and we find out what they're actually going to do before you think you know what they're going to do, because you don't know. Have a good day, guys. Try and be more positive.
All right, Brandon, we appreciate you. Brandon, he likes to keep us in check here in the fast lane, and nobody's safe here, including us. So we appreciate your mic drop, Brandon. He's right. We don't know what is going to do, what the Cardinals are going to do. I will say this, though, in terms of like us holding off on talking about it, there was a moment today where BK and Ferrario, and I actually been listening to the segment. They spent about, 7 minutes or so talking football. And it was the only time I think they talked football today. And there was a tweet that Rocchio actually showed me of somebody bitching and moaning because 101 ESPN was talking about football. If we don't talk about the Cardinals, people may lose their lives. I'm just going to throw it out there. People will drop dead.
They would just fall over?
Yes.
Like if we don't speak about the Cardinals,
if we don't talk about the Cardinals, and we talk about
do the nosedive,
and we talk about something else, especially football, here in St. Louis,
they're going to disappear like in the Avengers.
Disappear like in the Avengers. That's what I'm talking about.
We're going to turn to dust.
And I'm not going to have that on my conscience.
Well, Anthony, no.
You know what I mean?
That's a lot of people.
So two of us in that scenario will disappear. That's not going to be on me.
It's only half. It's only half.
So what I'm saying to you, Brandon, is that we have to talk about this or people will disappear.
Yeah, we don't want them to disappear.
So you may think
you
may think we're being negative.
Right? Like, let's be honest. There's some people we won't miss.
You know what? Maybe we should roll the dice.
I'd like to see the odds.
Oh, let's talk about the Blues.
Oh, man.
It doesn't
work if we talk about the Blues. It only works if we talk about football.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well,
That's it, yeah.
I'll be one of the people here, I think.
Well, hey,
man.
Maybe.
You never know.
You don't know
how the universe works.
It might not be.
I don't know the algorithm.
Might be teetering the line here, but not good news coming out of Minnesota. From one of our wide receivers. We don't want to go too far into the weeds because we don't want to lose our listeners.
Well,
but I'm just saying, we're teetering the lines right now.
That's what I'm saying. People walking around St. Louis, they listen to 101. They hear football.
College football came out today, too.
Now. College football did come out today. Oh. We actually might lose listeners to playing that game.
Nobody walking right now on the sidewalk.
They feel?
It's happening.
Brandon's now in the snake pit, too. He goes, I wonder what our record is since I called them out the first time. Here's the thing. The success and the failures, to Brandon's point, are now on Brandon.
Oh.
It's World Series or bust now.
Brandon's right. Since he's called us out, the Cardinals have played well. So he just called us out again. They start to play poorly, Jamie.
Yep. It's on Brandon.
On Brandon. All right, let's hear from Donovan next, who left us a mic drop on
Brandon?
The Cardinals.
At this point, you kind of accept what's going on with the Cardinals front office in that they're not going to trade for a big-time name. And with the way the trade market's looking right now, they want Juan Soto-type players for Luis Robert, and Garrett Crochet. And the thing is, neither of them are up to the standard that Juan Soto is. And even that deal was a huge win for the Nationals and a huge loss for the Padres. So you have to look at it like that. They want these big-time prospects. First of all, the Cardinals don't have these big-time prospects. And second of all, it's not worth that kind of price tag.
You know, Donovan brings up a really good point. Because the trade deadline is a seller's deadline, meaning that there's more buyers than there are sellers. You should, if you're the White Sox, you should ask for the moon for those guys. Even if you're the A's and you're not trying, you should ask for a slew in return for Brent Rooker. Like, you got one guy, and there's a bunch of buyers that need a middle-of-the-order bat. You should hold teams over the coals. Some teams, like the Padres, are willing to go ahead and give up a lot of their farm system to bring in Juan Soto. The Cardinals have not swam in those waters. That's not how they operate. So to Donovan's point, yeah, you're going to have to pay a pretty hefty price when it comes to getting those guys. That's why, Carey, you and I were going back and forth in one of the breaks last week about, you and I were doing kind of mock trades for Garrett Crochet and Luis Robert. And I told you no a lot.
You did. I think I found one that you would say yes to, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think
let's do that tomorrow then.
We can work it out.
Hey, Marsh, can we play Deal or No Deal?
Yeah, let's play Deal or No Deal. I'll be the banker.
Yeah. Sounds good.
No deal.
Oh, Jamie.
I'm warming up.
Let him do his thing. Yeah. All right, let's hear from Carmen.
I'll be Howie Mandel.
Ooh. He's got a lot of phobias.
Yeah, he doesn't like handshakes.
Doesn't like handshakes. Yeah, nothing like that. Yep.
You got to come in with white gloves, Martian.
Like the keeper of the cup.
Stanley Cup.
Yeah, absolutely.
Phil Pritchard.
Yep.
I believe that's his name.
It is.
Yeah.
I like white gloves.
I have some Germex in my car. Maybe I'll bring that in as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
You got to shave your head bald, though.
I won't do that.
All right.
Won't do that at all.
Can't lose those
wear one of
flow.
those dresses like the girls into.
I don't think I'm going to do that either.
I don't want to see that either.
I don't really want to see it. I just want to see if he'd do it.
No.
No?
I think I'm good.
Meghan Markle was on there, too.
Yes, she was.
Was she?
Yeah.
She was.
Isn't that when the former prince saw her? Or was that in Suits?
I think it was Suits.
Suits, yeah. He goes, man.
Which, oddly enough, she never wears a suit in that show.
Does she not?
No.
She has to wear a,
No, I'm
like
telling
a
you, she's
business
wearing
suit or
skirts
something.
all the time.
I think it is
No.
skirts.
It's skirts all the time.
Yeah.
Not
Maybe
one
maybe a
scene.
skirt suit. No, I'm telling you, I've watched a lot.
Yeah.
You've kept
Not
your
that
eye on her?
Yeah. Now that I'm
I want to
replaying
just
it.
hold her accountable.
For research purposes.
Yeah, for research and development.
I got you.
I make sure that I notice what she's wearing
That's fair.
every show.
Yeah.
Jamie does those breakdown videos
that
after
for
each
lawsuits,
episode on
the
YouTube.
name?
No.
It's for the people actually wearing suits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Because the two characters that they put on the thing are guys, and they're wearing suits.
Yeah, but they're lawyers.
But they're wearing suits. Why else would they call it suits, Carey?
It's a great Easter egg.
Otherwise, they'd call it lawsuits.
That's a really good point. All right, Armin's got the final mic drop for us here.
Hey guys, hope you're staying cool in this treacherous heat. I can't stand it. I don't know how you guys do it. But let's talk about Mo.
Thanks.
Did we really expect anything different from this guy? Like Jamie said, very vanilla-based trade deadline. I can't even talk. That's how aggravating this guy is to listen to sometimes and just pisses me off. Yes, he will be very vanilla-based. It will be a very boring, bland trade deadline. Again, what do we expect out of Mo? We don't expect anything. He's plain. Very plain. Very plain, very boring. Absolutely no excitement whatsoever. And it just drives me nuts that some fans think that that is okay, which I can contest that probably the entire fan base thinks otherwise, but that's not the point. The point is, he sucks. It's terrible. Very terrible. Anyway, what do I know? I'm just a 34-year-old schmuck from Eureka, Missouri. Let's go Blues.
I love his mic drop, and I love hearing your voice.
Yeah, I know.
He's getting the text line number out while we're listening to a mic drop.
I was listening to that too. I'm like, I was trying to focus in on Armin, but I'm like, all I hear is myself. Yeah, Armin, listen, let me tell you something. One, you stay cool too. And you are no schmuck, okay? You might be from Eureka, but you're no schmuck.
No.
Not up in here.
Good people from Eureka.
Absolutely.
Cam Jansen, Eureka's very own.
There you go.
Yeah.
Every time I hear Cam Jansen's name, we love Cam. Cam's a nice dude. Every time I hear his name, all I can think of is the couple of times that he did radio here. And every day he would apologize because he was so sweaty.
Really?
I'd go to shake Cam's hand. He'd shake your hand. He'd go, I'm so sorry. I just got to get nervous. I'm sweaty.
I saw Cam
I get sweaty.
hot in here. I saw Cam on Saturday night.
Did you?
Cam and his lovely bride made the trip out to Cottleville.
Oh, nice.
They're at Frankie Martin's hanging out for second night in a row.
He's a good dude.
He's a great dude.
He's a real good dude. All right. Home Run Derby Challenge. That's right. We've got the Home Run Derby tonight. We're going to air it here on 101 ESPN. And we got kind of a little special rendition of the Home Run Derby Challenge next on 101 ESPN. It's Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. My guy, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, and we always welcome in Stewie because we love chatting with Stewie, and especially when rates apparently have dropped. So how can we help out listeners right now, Stewie?
Anthony, there's a ton of people last year who got rates in the low sevens, the mid sevens, the upper sevens, some people even in the eights, and this has been going on for almost 2 years. Well, inflation has dropped down, interest rates are starting to drop down. Take advantage of the bagel loan and refinance for free with no closing costs at all. If you have an FHA loan, even though your rate's great, when you factor in the PMI you're paying, which is huge, your actual interest rate's in the eights easily. Take advantage, flip it to a conventional loan for free and save that money today. If you're worried, hey, you know what, rates can go down even more, no worries at all. 6 months from now, rates go down, we can do it again at no cost.
That's the key right there, is having a guy like Stewie who has all these great programs available, and he's already done the thinking for you. And that's why you need to call Stewie on his personal cell phone number, is because you don't have to try and solve the riddle. Stewie's going to do that for you, and he's going to walk you through it and take great care of you. And all you got to do is call him at 314-324-4440.
Again, that number, if you missed it, is 314-324-4440.
And you heard Stewie talking about it. If you don't remember that number, Anthony, what can you do?
You can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Cardinals take a 50-46 record into the All-Star break. They're 4.5 games back of Milwaukee for first place in the National League Central as they split the Cubs over the weekend. They are the second wild card team in the wild card standings. We talked about them all day long. If you missed any of that, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. You'll find all of our interviews and full shows there. And it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We talked about JJ Wetherholt being the number 1 pick for the Cardinals in Major League Baseball's draft. He went at number 7. We also talked with Kyle Hiebert today of City SC. So once again, if you missed anything, make sure you just go to the website or use that free 101 mobile app. After the show, we'll have the Home Run Derby for you, covered starting at 7 o'clock, and we're going to dive into our Home Run Derby picks coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center Update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
I don't believe what I just saw.
Home run.
All right, so tonight is the Home Run Derby. We've got it right here on 101 ESPN starting at 7 o'clock. And we decided with no Cardinals game, because we normally pick the home runs for the Cardinals games, that we would do kind of a special Home Run Derby contest. So there are 8 contestants in the Home Run Derby. We will each select 2 of those players. So we'll all have 2. If our contestant wins the Home Run Derby tonight, we will get 1 point added to our personal home run score for the Home Run Challenge.
I like it.
I don't know what we call it.
Are we
the Home Run Derby Challenge?
The Home Run Derby Challenge.
So I get to go first?
Carey is in dead last. Carey's in dead last right now in our Home Run Derby Challenge.
Let's reward those who aren't doing good.
Yep.
Good idea.
Well, he needs help, and we're about help here in the Fast
So
Lane.
I thought about this. I don't get to pick both. I don't want to pick both.
No,
We should
you
do it
pick-
like a snake draft. I go first, you second, third, fourth, and I go last.
It's his idea.
It's
his idea.
It is. Carey,
Carey, you should go first.
There you go.
Yep, go ahead.
Snake draft. All right.
What the hell?
Carey, that screws Anthony.
I don't want that.
Andy, go ahead. He's making his pick.
I don't want Pete. Give me a Gunnar Henderson.
Okay.
No Gunny.
Well, good luck with Eric Bohm, Carey.
I know that's what I'm going to have.
Yeah.
Anthony, your pick.
I'm going to take the big strong man.
He's tuckered out. He's been doing it too long.
Are you kidding me? He's doing deadlifts in between rounds.
The only dork
This
that
is his
cares
World
about
Series.
It is totally his World
This
Series.
is Pete Alonso's World Series. There's nothing
God.
that matters more to Pete Alonso in his career than winning another home run derby.
I just didn't feel it was fair. I was going to take both of those guys first, and then you all would have been.
Yeah, but we shouldn't do a snake draft, though.
It's snake draft.
No.
For the snake pit.
You know what? I like that. It was a great idea, Carey. Don't let Anthony
You're
tell you.
going to get screwed, Carey. And you screwed me in the process. Congratulations. You screwed
Misery
yourself,
loves
and you turned
company.
around and screwed me.
All right, Marshy, let's go. Marshy's got every analytic in the world pulled up over there. He's checking out the stadium. Like, come on. Let's go.
Give me, I'll go with Teoscar Hernandez.
Oh, that came off the board. All right. Well, he knows he got another pick coming up.
All right. Give me Bobby Witt Jr. And let's see here.
Jamie benefits from being in
able to go twice.
That's why I was like, I like your idea, Carey.
I may have not have thought that part through.
No, you didn't.
And give me Adolis Garcia.
In his home park.
Yeah, give me Jose Ramirez.
Carey, you're going to be fine.
Wow, this, I didn't see this going the way
You
this
got who
did.
you wanted?
I didn't get who I wanted,
But you're okay with who you got.
I was expecting to get worse than this. I'll take Marcell Ozuna.
Thought about it, but I see him tuckering out.
Now, when Alex Bohm wins it all,
Did you say Alex?
Alec Bohm wins it all.
When his brother steps up.
Yeah, his brother.
Alex. Yeah, Alec Bohm. Okay, all right.
Bohm.
He probably will now that we've made such a big deal out of this.
I doubt it.
I don't think he will.
You guys
But
are
you never
haters.
know. You never know. Yeah. All right, so there's our home run derby. So, Marsh, you have
I have Teoscar Hernandez and Jose Ramirez.
Carey,
Gunnar Henderson and Alec Bohm.
Jamie,
Bobby Witt Jr. and Adolis Garcia.
and I have Pete Alonso and Marcelo Ozuna. So whoever wins the derby tonight, whoever got selected from us, by us, we will receive 1 point to our home run derby.
I need it.
Same. Yeah, I don't want you to win because then we'd be tied, Carey. I think. Maybe not.
No, I'm still 2 points behind.
2 points? Okay.
So who do you think is actually going to win?
Pete Alonso.
Pete Alonso?
Yeah.
Yeah, he right now he's meditating.
Yes.
He's going to get a full body massage. He's going to get stretched out. He's going to who knows?
Everybody else is enjoying the All-Star festivities.
Yep.
Pete Alonso, Jamie's right. He's in a room by himself right now. He found Aaron Rodgers' dark room guy, and he's there right now. He's not eating. Oh, actually, sorry, he's on a strict diet, and he's preparing himself for tonight, and he'll deadlift in between and all that other garbage.
He's got the iPad out studying the batting practice pitcher.
Absolutely. He knows
how the ball comes out of his hand.
He's already scoured the entire stadium tonight in Arlington.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
He's got the measuring tape out,
Yeah.
and he's measuring from home plate to the wall to make sure it's accurate, what they have painted on the wall.
Yeah. He's got one of those wheels that like inspectors use. You know, he's out there. He's with the wheel.
Yeah.
Right now. Like, well, technically,
He's hired a wind expert.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think he's on the exploder?
It might not be,
It may be.
Major League
Yeah, I
Baseball.
don't. Major League Baseball would have to approve, of course.
It's just a home run derby.
Just got to use somebody else's urine.
True.
You know?
He's probably using that the deer antler spray or whatever.
It worked out well.
Yeah. You know what? He probably doesn't even need it. Probably doesn't even need it.
No, he probably doesn't.
You seen this guy lift weights, Anthony?
I have.
In his cleats,
I have.
mind you.
Yeah, he's an animal. All right. Bet the board, which should be real interesting, by the way, because there's this, and there's like
nothing.
NBA preseason. And that's it. Not even preseason. Summer League.
I'm trying to find like some foosball match.
So we got Bet the Board and 3 stars of the day next on 101 ESPN.
For me, like, I'm a big, strong guy. If I wanted to put someone in the hospital, I easily could.
Tonight, it's the MLB Home Run Derby.
We have somebody to come out on Thursday from Happy Roof to look at our roof because we want to make sure that with all the rain and all the some of the hail that has come through the St. Louis area over the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months, that we want to make sure that we're properly taken care of, and that's what the Happy Roof Company does. If you have roof damage and your insurance company already paid you, no problem. You need a roofer that's going to come out and give you a fair estimate, call the Happy Roof Company. They've got free estimates with competitive pricing. If you need help with insurance paperwork on a damaged roof, the Happy Roof Company can help you there. If your insurance claim actually got denied and then you're looking out and all your neighbors are getting new roofs except for you, call the Happy Roof. They work well with insurance companies. They do residential and commercial roofing. They have superior high-end products. They have a 10-year labor warranty on all shingle roofs, financing options available, detailed inspection reports for real estate transactions. So if you're selling your house, but you also want to make sure that you have a record of having a new roof, no problem. The Happy Roof Company, they do it all. A+ rating with the BBB. Give them a call today. And if you do have a roofing issue, you're not even getting a new roof. You just, you want to make sure that there's no damage or you do have a leak. Call them at 314-665-3001 because when you do, they'll have somebody out to your house within 24 hours to look at your issue. TheHappyRoof.com. It's The Happy Roof. Look, Jamie, I may not be honorable, but Marsh is. Okay?
That's true. If you didn't have Marshy for backup, I would just assume you're lying. Bottom line.
And he might.
He might be for sure.
Oh, Marsh checked too. It was exactly 13
Marshy did
assists.
check. That's why I'm okay with it.
Okay. We were all talking about bet the board, and we're all like, hey, how'd you do? Marsh asked us, hey, how'd you do on Friday? I said, I won.
Anthony goes, I won. Of course he did. Of course he did.
Finally, Marsh goes, no, I just verified it.
I was like, okay.
All right. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app, all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. All right, now we have bet the board. Marsh, do you have the latest standings? Or need to catch up? It's okay if you need to catch up.
No, I have them. I just had to hit the next tab.
Okay.
I'm so far away, like I can't.
Yeah.
You know.
You got long arms, but
not that long.
Yeah.
Not that long. Anthony, you're 5-3. I'm 5-3. Jamie is 6-2, and Carey is 4-4.
Well, it's close. It's a tight battle. So, Jamie?
All right. Well, with all of the available bets on sports tonight.
All 6 of them.
I circled around to the home run derby.
Yeah, you did.
And looked for something a little different. Just to make the finals. Good old FanDuel has some odds on guys just to make the finals.
Yes.
Pete Alonso, plus 140.
Wow.
I'm taking the big, strong guy. I'm going to force Anthony to hate the fact that Pete Alonso is making it to the final.
That'd be tough.
I'm emotionally wrecking you because you want to win your bet the board or your home run derby. You will be cheering for me.
It feels so dirty. Yeah, you're right. All right, Marsh, are you up or am I up?
You can go.
Okay. I, too, am going to go back to the home run derby. I, too, am going to take the prop odds. 2024 home run derby league of winner. I'm going to take the National League at plus 104. So that means I get Pete Alonso, Marcell Ozuna, Teoscar Hernandez, and Alec Bohm.
Where'd you find? Oh, I should have clicked one lower.
Yes. The National League. Now, they're not. That's not
really
favored.
Good bet.
The American League is still favored, so I'm still kind of taking an underdog.
Bet,
but thank you. Yeah. So I get Alonso and all the other National League guys.
Yeah, well played, in.
Thank you, sir. So plus 104.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the exact thing. Pete Alonso over Bobby Witt Jr. plus 1,800.
Wow, that's a heavy one.
Why not?
So you're going to go with the exact. So a home run. So it's got to be that exact final.
The final. Pete Alonso wins over Bobby Witt Jr.
So you're not even going Pete Alonso. You're just going.
He's going with that exact.
That exact.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
why not?
Oh man, swinging for the fences.
It's the home run derby.
Yeah, I'm with you. You said final answer. I love it. All right, go ahead.
Give me.
Thank you, Gator.
Over 272 home runs, 272 and a half. It's minus 113 by all the participants.
I love how we've got nothing. We've dove in deep.
It's minus 113.
Wait till tomorrow. It's just the All-Star game. Actually, there's some WNBA tomorrow.
I think there's some darts that we can look at.
I think the CFL might have a game.
Not until Friday, probably. But yeah, they play on the weekends, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They moved it there now.
What the hell? All right, Marsh, go ahead.
3 stars of the day before we get out of here. Our 3rd star of the day goes to Kyle Hiebert for joining the show and providing us some good content.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kyle.
2nd star of the day goes out to Brandon for sending his mic drop and always keeping us on our toes.
Absolutely, calling us out again. Green 2 negative.
And after Anthony.
Yep.
And
well, all of us, but yeah, me.
1st star of the day goes to turning into dust because you listened to too much NFL talk in St. Louis.
On 101 ESPN.
On 101, yeah.
All
illegal.
7 minutes of it. Yep. All right. That'll do it for us. Don't forget, we've got the Home Run Derby next weekend. We're squaring off against the Riz Show again, hosted by O'Fallon Hoots, Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, Faster House, and Zwickle Light. We appreciate the sponsors for next week. Tickets still available for that. You get all the details on this year's O'Fallon Hoots Home Run Derby now at 101ESPN.com. For Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, and Anthony Stalter, see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. See ya!